Chapter 518. Every son and daughter of a prestigious family in Sea City should not be calculative about their own gains and losses. They should place themselves on the chessboard that is most beneficial to their family and be a good chess piece until they walk out of the chessboard. This is your mission, don't forget it. Shen Kai smiled gently. In Ouyang Yan's eyes, this man was so numb that it was scary. His words and thoughts made it impossible for anyone to have any fantasies about this man. Although he was good-looking and tall, such a realist man was too scary. Ouyang Yan was unwilling to give up. Her purpose in coming here was just to give a simple explanation, but in the end, she was blocked by Shen Kai to the point that she couldn't discuss in depth how to solve the case. He even strangled her ideas and didn't give her any chance to make a comeback. Chess piece. She never thought that she would be in such a situation. A chess piece of her family. She was a proud Ouyang Yan. She felt that she could choose her life. In fact, as Shen Kai said, she could not choose her life. She had no choice. As far as Shen Kai was concerned, the reason why he said all this to Ouyang Yan was because he liked her. If it was someone else, he wouldn't even bother to say anything. If you want to provoke others, if you want to stir up trouble, that's your business. It has nothing to do with me. But outside, he would have the image of upholding justice. Ouyang Yan was too involved in this. It was not good. He was really worried that one day, she would cause trouble and he would not have the heart to save her. In order to take precautions, it was better to remind her earlier. Jiang Zhao was angry with Yi Er before. Yi Er directly categorized Jiang Zhao as a petty man in her heart. People said that only a man with a big heart could achieve hegemony. Logically speaking, a man like Jiang Zhao was definitely young and promising. In the past, he was also a big shot with a high position and a generous salary. But behind closed doors, his annoying temper was really unbearable. She did not know if it was because of the change in her feelings that she had higher expectations of him, or if it was because he was a petty person by nature. People said that a flash marriage sounded romantic but was not reliable. The main reason was that when two people really got along, the other party's bad habits would always be exposed. Until both parties could not take it anymore and divorce in the end. Of course, there were also those who were very happy. Yi Er's tolerance had been honed over the past 2 years. She felt that Jiang Zhao had picked up a great bargain. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to find such a good wife even if he had transmigrated to a primitive society. What do you want to eat for lunch? Jiang Zhao ignored Yi Er and glanced at her. He turned over and read the newspaper on his side. What kind of name is that? She didn't even bother to call him hubby. Yi Er walked around to the opposite side of the building and stood in front of Jiang Zhao. What do you want to eat for lunch? It's already past mealtime. Do you have to be like this? Are you not hungry? Jiang Zhao turned over again and flipped through the newspaper. However, the man's expression was relaxed and he didn't seem irritated at all. Yi Er raised her head and silently swore in her heart, Jiang Zhao, you ungrateful thing. Just you wait. When I become the owner one day, you'll be in trouble. Yi Er started to walk around the building again. When she saw Jiang Zhao flipping through the newspaper, she reached out and tore the newspaper from his hand. She pinched it in her hand. Her eyes were still burning, but there was a sly smile on her lips. When you were young, did your teacher teach you that you shouldn't read while lying down? I'm reading the newspaper. Yi Er thought to herself. This was the last time. If he didn't want to eat, then forget it. You're just going to read the newspaper and not eat, right? I'm not hungry. Give me back the newspaper. Jiang Zhao snorted. He was a patient. How could she dare to deprive him of food and drink? She had to beg him to eat. She had to beg him to eat. Yi Er's expression suddenly brightened. She bent over and gently stroked Jiang Zhao's hand with her empty hand. Her eyes curved into crescents and she looked so sweet. Jiang Zhao was so excited that the wolf claw in his heart kept scratching at the walls of his heart. You know that hard methods are useless, so you're using soft methods. Come on, wifey. I love soft methods the most. Soft words, soft lips, soft body. Just thinking about it makes my heart swell. The smile on Yi Er's face became even gentler. Jiang Zhao was about to melt. He couldn't help but smile. Who knew that another hand would send a newspaper to him? The woman's voice was soft, but she didn't send him soft lips or send him angry words. Sir, I know that you're busy with official business and have no time to spare. It's the country's fortune and the people's fortune to have a public servant like you. I don't know much, but I know that women don't get involved in politics. Sir, you're so busy with the country's affairs that you don't even have time to eat lunch. I thank you on behalf of the people. It's because of you that our country is strong and prosperous. I'm going to eat first. I can't fall down. I need to have enough energy to send the newspaper to my husband and effect Sir's official business. Yi Er firmly stuffed the newspaper into the gloomy hands of Jiang Zhao. She lowered her head and took 2 steps back. She folded her hands by her side, bowed, and said in a low voice, I'll take my leave. She maintained her posture and took a few steps back with her head bowed. Then she turned around and swaggered out of the door. Yi Er didn't go to the hospital's cafeteria to get food. Instead, she drove to a Cantonese restaurant to order takeout. When she returned to the hospital, Yi Er asked the nurse to move a small table to the entrance. Then she opened the takeout one by one. The aroma filled the room. The dishes that Yi Er ordered weren't spicy. They were all Jiang Zhao's favorites. Wow, the core of this oyster sauce vegetable is so tender. The core is so fresh. The stock is so tender and refreshing. Wow, the goose feet are so good. They're so soft and fragrant. How come I didn't realize that the winter bamboo shoots, pig stomach, and sea cucumber soup in Cantonese hui hui is so fresh? Jiang Zhao sat up from the bed with a whoosh and threw the newspaper on the bed. Yun Yi. Don't you know that we shouldn't talk when we eat? Shut up. Yi Er drank the soup very loudly. She made it sound like she was drinking soup from a century-old pot. Sir, please handle your official business properly, Jiang Zhao thought to himself, what kind of sin did I commit? He didn't believe that he would be forced to step down by a little wench. He laid his head down and tried to sleep. However, he couldn't fall asleep. It was already 3 o'clock. He was already hungry. After being angered by that woman, he became even hungrier. His stomach was full of air. When he exhaled, he felt as if his chest was pressed against his back. Especially when the room was filled with the aroma of food. Coupled with that woman's explanation, he couldn't bear it anymore. Bring it to me. Jiang Zhao sat up and propped the pillow on his back. He leaned against the bed like a master. He pulled out the simple folding buffet table by the bed and placed it in front of him. He knocked on the table and said generously, I've finished my official business. Let's eat. Yi Er took the takeout boxes one by one and placed them on the small dining table for Uncle Jiang Zhao. As long as Jiang Zhao was willing to eat, she didn't care if she had to suck up to him. She took off her shoes and sat on the bed, ready to eat with Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao looked up and glared at her. Don't you know the rules? When your master is eating, you can only watch. You can only eat when your master is done. Yi Er knew that Jiang Zhao was seeking revenge, so she went along with it. In any case, she had just eaten a little and wasn't hungry anymore. She just went along with what he wanted. She blinked her watery eyes pitifully, like a pitiful puppy wagging its tail. She shrunk her neck and curled her body. She knelt on the bed and retreated until she reached the end of the bed. She said in a childish voice, "My lord, this concubine knows her mistake. I won't do it again." Jiang Zhao was in a good mood. He picked up the spoon and drank a mouthful of soup. He nodded and shook his neck. It was really good. He beckoned Yi Er over. "Come here. I'll give you a mouthful of soup." Otherwise, wouldn't it be a joke if people said that I, the magistrate of Haiqing Prefecture, didn't even give my wife a mouthful of soup? Ha! Yi Er knew that Jiang Zhao was like this. She just had to obey him a little. She crawled over again. "Thank you, master. Open your mouth." Yi Er Gigai opened her mouth. "Stretch your neck over." Yi Er Gigai stretched her neck over. Jiang Zhao scooped up a spoonful of soup and smiled at Yi Er. Little pug. If he went on a business trip in the future, he had to raise a little pug to bring along with him. No, how could that be the same? Even if he went on a business trip, he had to bring her along. Ha! Yi Er was still waiting for the master to give her a mouthful of soup. She didn't expect the master to pour the entire spoonful of soup into her mouth. She didn't expect him to trick her at this critical juncture. Forget it, he was injured. He was the master. Just as she was about to retract her neck, her entire chin was firmly held by the master. The man's mouth pressed down on hers and poured the entire spoonful of soup into her mouth. Yi Er's eyes widened. "Your sister. Did you King brush your teeth before eating?" Jiang Zhao put down the spoonful of soup and pinched Yi Er's lips with both hands. He said, "Swallow it. Swallow it. I dare you to spit it out." Yi Er shook her head and refused. She couldn't take it anymore. A kiss was a kiss, all right. How dare he pour the soup in his mouth into her mouth? This was different from kissing, all right. It wasn't the same, all right. Jiang Zhao panicked. This woman actually despised him. She dared to despise him. He was going to teach her a lesson. She was still so young and she was already despising him. In another 10 or 20 years, how much more would she despise him? Forced by Jiang Zhao's strength and tyrannical gaze, Yi Er finally gave in. She held back her disgust and swallowed it down. She wanted to quickly drink another spoonful of soup to ease her disgust. Jiang Zhao saw through her thoughts and immediately grabbed her hand. He said seriously, "Yi Er, I've seen through you today. I'm just suffering from some external injuries. I just let you eat something from my mouth and you're already so disgusted. If I catch a cold, will you be afraid of being infected and hide thousands of miles away?" "Hey, I didn't mean that." "You didn't. Look at you. You're about to vomit and you're still saying that you didn't." Jiang Zhao's face turned red. It was too embarrassing to argue with his wife about this. Whose wife was like this? Yi Er felt that her husband had always been a piece of iron. Although he was more childish than before when they were alone, the nature of a piece of iron would never change. She would be at a disadvantage if she went against an iron plate. This was an experience and also a lesson. All right. I already said that I didn't. It's just that I can't accept it all of a sudden. If I were like this, would you be able to take it? Don't you know that you shouldn't impose on others what you don't want to be done to you? Jiang Zhao was in a bad mood. Yo, you also know that you shouldn't impose on others what you don't want to be done to you? An uncultured person isn't that scary, right? Please, although I didn't go to university, I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school, right? I know basic Chinese, right? Unlike you, who only knows the 3 representatives, the 3rd plenary session, the National People's Congress, and come and see, Songshu 566. Chapter 519. Jiang Zhao laughed heartily. Yes, I know that. But do you know what it means? Yi Er stammered, it's okay if I don't know. I still know a little about the country's policies. What policies do you know about the country's policies? Forget it, forget it. I don't want to argue with you anymore. Alright, you're the one who doesn't want to argue about this issue. Jiang Zhao held the spoon in his hand. Then let's continue talking about the issue of not doing to others what you don't want to be done to you. Jiang Zhao, are you done yet? You're a man. Why are you being so calculative? I just felt a little disgusted eating the soup in your mouth. This is a normal reaction. How do you expect me to pretend? Jiang Zhao couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with Yi Er. He picked up the spoon and scooped up a spoonful of soup. His other hand grabbed Yi Er's chin and pinched her mouth open. He blew on the soup in the spoon and poured it directly into Yi Er's open mouth. He pressed his own mouth against hers and swirled his tongue around. After letting go of Yi Er, he continued to eat leisurely. He didn't feel any discomfort. Jiang Zhao responded to Yi Er's disgusted reaction with a contemptuous attitude. Yi Er knew that she was in the wrong. She looked at Jiang Zhao and said fawningly, Your Excellency, no matter how you want to punish me, I won't dare to have any resentment. All right, you said it. Yi Er nodded furiously. At worst, Jiang Zhao could punish her. She wasn't afraid. At worst, he could do it a few more times and tire her out a little. Yes, yes, yes. Your Excellency has the final say. Jiang Zhao looked at the sea cucumber, pork tripe, and vegetable cores in the soup. He then looked at Yi Er and slowly smiled. His smile grew wider and wider and his laughter became more and more unbridled. Ha ha ha! Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao's laughter and felt her hair stand on end. Can you imagine what it would be like if you said, Your Excellency has the final say, to a big shot that you had just offended, but that big shot didn't say anything and just laughed unbridled? What would you think? The most direct thought would be that he wanted to kill you. Hey, Jiang Zhao. Aw. Jiang Zhao laughed until he was out of breath. What are you laughing at? Yi Er asked timidly. Jiang Zhao covered his face with both hands and pushed it up until his hairline. He then pressed it down along the top of his head and stretched lazily. With a naughty smile, he said, Aren't you disgusted by the soup I fed you? Yi Er was kneeling on the bed. When she heard what Jiang Zhao said, she immediately put her hands on the bed and moved back to the end of the bed. She waved her hands frantically and said, No, no, I was wrong. I deeply realized my mistake just now. Really, really. I swear. Yi Er didn't know how Jiang Zhao wanted to punish her, but she knew it wouldn't be a good thing if he told her directly. Yi Er sat up straight and said in a dignified manner, Dear, before we got married, I told you that even if we can't help each other in need, we can still treat each other with respect. In fact, I think we can be considered as helping each other in need now. Look, we kissed. I drank the soup in your mouth and you drank the soup in my mouth. Isn't that the best way to explain how we helped each other in need? Jiang Zhao nodded as if he understood. Yi Er suppressed her heart, which was about to jump out of her chest. She continued to persuade him, Dear, the two of us are so happy. Look, the two of us who helped each other in need died in the end. The two of us have meat to eat and soup to drink. How happy is that, right? Yes, yes, yes. Jiang Zhao agreed with a smile. Yi Er panicked even more. What was he trying to do? Jiang Zhao said, The first time we helped each other in need, we didn't do it well enough. Since you already understand the meaning of helping each other in need, then let's show you a deeper level of helping each other in need. I think after this, you won't be able to throw up even if you want to. Yi Er's brain exploded with a dull thud. She couldn't throw up even if she wanted to. What was this? Jiang Zhao picked up his chopsticks and pointed at the dishes on the table. Let's eat a nutritious combination of meat and vegetables. I'll pick up this sea cucumber, pig stomach, and diced bamboo shoots and stuff them into my mouth. I'll chew them until they're soft and then feed them to you, okay? As soon as Jiang Zhao finished speaking, Yi Er immediately covered her mouth. She was about to throw up. No, she couldn't stay here any longer. If she stayed any longer, she would be played to death by this asterisk. When Jiang Zhao saw that Yi Er was about to run away, he immediately jumped off the bed and caught her just as Yi Er jumped off the bed. Yi Er was pressed against the wall. She knew that even if she didn't die today, she would be crippled. She curled her lips and reached out to pinch the hem of Jiang Zhao's shirt. She shook it slightly. Dear, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Dear, I'm still young. I can be forgiven for being immature. Don't lower yourself to my level, okay? Hubby. Yi Er softly called out to her husband. Jiang Zhao pressed Yi Er against the wall. The smile on his face relaxed. He carelessly combed Yi Er's hair and said in a serious tone, Dear, being young is not an excuse for making mistakes. It's also not a reason. A married woman follows her husband. As your guardian and husband, I have the responsibility and obligation to educate you on your mistakes. Dear, you have a lot of vague and even confusing concepts about life. But it doesn't matter. We can find the right direction through our mistakes. We can also find the right way through our mistakes. So, it's okay to be wrong once, but we can't make the same mistake again. Yi Er nodded, and nodded again. She almost cowed out again. Dear, you're right. You're indeed a great thinker, a revolutionary, and an artist. Dear, look at you. Your old habits are acting up again. You need to be honest with your comments. If you go overboard, you're exaggerating. As an artist, I will at most study your body art. So, I don't deserve the honor of being an artist. Yi Er gritted her teeth. Damn it. What do you not deserve? Yes. I went overboard. I'm sorry, dear. It's okay. Let's get back to the topic. We were talking about the problem you made today. In order to deepen our relationship, we need to help each other today. For our future husband and wife life to be more harmonious, both of us need to work harder. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er, who was about to cry. He clenched his fist at her and said gently, Dear, you can do it. Yi Er was really about to cry. She felt that she had never been so disgusted when she didn't have any teeth. When she was young, her father must have bought her baby rice paste to eat. It must have been. There was no doubt about it. Jiang Zhao actually wanted to chew all the vegetables and meat for her to eat. Did he want her to stop eating from now on? Didn't she just feel a little nauseous when she drank the soup? But didn't she still swallow it? Jiang Zhao, although I felt a little nauseous during the process, I still swallowed it all in the end. Isn't that right? I didn't really vomit and the process didn't matter. Wasn't your goal just to make me drink the soup in your mouth? It's already in my stomach. Yi Er patted her stomach to show that the real thing was inside. Jiang Zhao shook his head and mimicked Yi Er's pitiful look. Oh, but my goal wasn't to make you drink it. I wanted you to stop feeling nauseous. Yi Er wanted to kill someone. Can't I just drink it if I don't feel like vomiting? It doesn't matter if you drink it or not. The result I want is that you don't feel like vomiting. Jiang Zhao, you're crazy. If I don't drink it, am I supposed to keep it in my mouth forever? You can do that too. Jiang Zhao said proudly. Yi Er looked up and shouted, Aw. But, I can't live like this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. What bullsh *t about helping each other in times of need. But, you big **, you can help whoever you want. Today, I'll move out with Dad and little brother. We'll live in a small house. I don't want to live like this anymore. Jiang Zhao was stunned. The door opened with a click and a bang was heard. It was the sound of a magnet being hit. Yun Hongwei ran into the room with Si Jia in his arms. Yi Er was so scared that he didn't dare to make a sound. He saw that his father's eyes were bloodshot. Si Jia also clenched his little fists and looked like he wanted to eat Jiang Zhao. His entire jaw was grinding. It was as if a magical beast was going to burst out of his little body in the next second. Jiang Zhao didn't know that it would be so early today. Si Jia should have arrived at 5 a.m., but it was only 3 a.m. Yesterday, he had promised his father-in-law that he would treat Yi Er well. Now, Yi Er was saying that he didn't want to live like this anymore. Jiang Zhao looked at his father-in-law and brother-in-law's expressions. His head was about to explode. It was really about to explode. Yi Er immediately started crying. He looked at Yun Hongwei and cried, "Dad, you have to be the judge." Sob, sob, sob. Jiang Zhao was very flustered. He hurriedly hugged Yi Er. "Yi Er, be good. Yi Er, don't make a fuss. Let's not make a fuss, okay?" Ha! Yi Er pushed Jiang Zhao away and ran into Yun Hongwei's arms. Si Jia ran over and hugged Jiang Zhao, then started punching him fiercely with his little fists. "Who told you to bully Yun Yi? Who told you to bully Yun Yi?" Jiang Zhao didn't fight back at all. Even if a child hit him, it wouldn't hurt. His muscles were tense as he looked at Yun Hongwei, who was still glaring at him. "Dad, we were just playing around." Yi hugged Yun Hongwei and said, "Daddy, it's not a joke. He won't let me eat sea cucumbers." "Daddy, why is he like this?" "I just want to eat some sea cucumbers, but he said that the doctor said that I shouldn't eat seafood in my medicine, so he won't let me eat it. It's been 3 hours since I took the medicine at noon, but he still won't let me eat it. He's the only one who's allowed to eat it. Daddy, you can't bully me like this. Daddy used to give me whatever I wanted to eat in the past." Yun Hongwei was stunned. Si Jia immediately stopped, turned around, and walked to Yi Er's side. He pulled her out of Yun Hongwei's arms and asked with a sullen face, "Yun Yi, you're really embarrassing yourself. Aren't you ashamed of your surname?" When Yun Hongwei looked at Jiang Zhao, he was a little embarrassed. "Jiang Zhao, I'm sorry. I misunderstood just now." He turned around and started to educate Yi Er. The seemingly gentle middle-aged man was very imposing when he scolded her. "How old are you? You're going to be 20 years old soon. You've been married for so long, but you're still like a child. How can you educate your younger brother like this?" Si Jia said disdainfully, "I don't want her to teach me. How can she teach me? I should be the one teaching her. Even if she can't eat sea cucumbers, she can still cause a ruckus at home. No one can do it better than her." Jiang Zhao exhaled steadily and walked over. He pulled Yi Er into his arms and rubbed her shoulders. When he saw that she was really crying, he pinched his shirt sleeve and wiped her tears. "Yi Er, don't cry. Tomorrow, we'll eat sea cucumbers. Tomorrow, I'll be discharged from the hospital and take you to eat sea cucumbers, okay? How about tonight? Tonight, we'll be discharged from the hospital and go eat sea cucumbers. We'll eat the best sea cucumbers in Haiqing, okay?" Si Jia sighed and raised his head to look at his father. He glanced at Yi Er in disdain, then shrugged and pursed his lips. "Look at your good daughter. Aren't you going to discipline her?" Ad. Hongcha 866 Chapter 520. Yun Hongwei didn't think it would be easy to discipline her. He couldn't possibly pull his daughter out of her husband's arms and educate her, right? He pulled Si Jia outside. Si Jia, I want to talk to you about what your form teacher said today. What did she mean by saying mean things to a female classmate? No way. She insisted that she liked me. I'm still young and can't fall in love. A man has to focus on his career. Oh, you can't say mean things to her. A man has to be manly. You are a gentleman. I'm starting to be a gentleman, but she keeps pestering me. If I don't be rude, she will think that I'm rejecting her. When he heard the sound of the door closing and the conversation between the adult and the child getting further and further away, Jiang Zhao carried Yira up and sat beside the bed. Hugging the woman in his arms, he said, Honey, thank you for not letting Daddy scold me. I'm just afraid that Dad will be sad. Yi Er was really afraid that her father would think that she was always bullied by Jiang Zhao. She knew that she had been the apple of her father's eye since she was young. If someone bullied Si Jia, she would be furious. She could completely understand her father's and Si Jia's reactions just now. Fortunately, she was one step ahead. Otherwise, who knew what her father would have picked up to hit Jiang Zhao? Yes, it's my fault. Let's go eat sea cucumber tonight, okay? I'm just saying. You don't like it? It's just a so-so. Then what do you want to eat? Stay in the hospital obediently. We'll take another X-ray tomorrow. When you're fully recovered, we'll go out and find a place to eat. Otherwise, if you eat fast food here every day, I won't go to Hai Yu Hui to buy takeout for you at night. Okay. I'll eat fast food. Yi Er saw that Jiang Zhao was so obedient. It was rare for her to see him like this. She quickly asked something she was very concerned about. Then do you still want to eat those chewy things of yours? I'm just joking. Honey, don't take it seriously. Jiang Zhao placed his chin on Yi Er's shoulder to please her. In the future, if you don't like to do something, I won't force you, okay? Next time, don't say that you don't want to live like this. Fortunately, Dad, Si Jia, heard it today. If others heard it, how shocked would they be? Really? Yi Er thought about it. Jiang Zhao's brain was not damaged. Really, it's definitely not cooked. At this moment, the two were indescribable. Yi was tired of being in Jiang Zhao's arms. Jiang Zhao hugged Yi was also unwilling to let go. And Yi Er glared at Jiang Zhao and said, No, we have to do the X-ray tomorrow and make sure there's no problem at all. The man pinched the woman's waistline and rubbed it up and down. Then you'll sleep with me tonight. Yi Er shook his head and looked at the man who looked like he was about to be set on fire. Jiang Zhao, do you think this is a 2-meter bed? Both of us have long arms and legs. It'll be too cramped if we sleep together. I'll sleep on the bed. Squeeze. Hey, isn't it too early to discuss tonight's matter? It's not early. It'll be dark in a few hours. Besides, it gets dark early these days. You know that. Can you think of something normal? I thought of the most normal thing based on this environment, Jiang Zhao said as he reached out and rubbed the woman's chest. Yi Er heard the sound of high heels clicking against the floor. He could imagine that the woman's head was slightly tilted up and her back was straight. She must have a good figure. The door opened and Qin Jin entered the room with an expensive handbag. Yi hurriedly jumped down from Jiang Zhao's body. Her face was completely red as she smiled. Mommy. Jiang Zhao sighed. This mother was too good at ruining things. How could she be so senseless? Qin Jin frowned and looked at the bruises at the corners of Jiang Zhao's mouth and cheekbones. She couldn't see how serious the injury was because of his clothes. She turned to look at Yi Er and her eyes darkened. She turned back and scolded Jiang Zhao. You're injured and you don't even need to rest. Don't you know that it takes 100 days to recover from a serious injury? Qin Zhen's words were very unhappy, but Yi Er knew that although she was scolding Jiang Zhao, she was actually saying that she was insensible. Her husband was injured, and as a wife, she was still in her husband's arms, causing him to not be able to rest. Her mother-in-law's expression was clearly condemning her. She didn't dare to offend her. Mom, just now, Qin Zhen didn't look at Yi Er. She looked at Jiang Zhao a little angrily and answered Yi Er, I know. I saw it when I came in. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er's timid expression and sighed. Mom, you're really too much. You have to knock before you come in. Look at me. I knock every time I go to your place. I'm afraid that I'll see something that I shouldn't see. Jiang Zhao, watch your words. Watch what? I'm just hugging my wife. What do I need to watch? You can hug your husband when you're in a relationship or remarried. I promise I won't see it. Qin Zhen scolded Jiang Zhao. Hey, mommy, Jiang Zhao replied with a smile and called out to Qin Zhen softly. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao's obsequious look. It was really rare to see such a scene in 1,000 years. She couldn't help but laugh. Mommy. Wasn't that disgusting? That voice sounded a little coquettish and even had a slight inflection. Qin Zhen coughed and said, Yi Er, I saw my in-laws and Sijie just now. Let's have dinner together tonight. Can you go and inform them? Yi Er said, okay. Then Mom, have a seat. I'll go and look for them first. Yi Er moved a stool over and placed it next to Qin Zhen. She nodded politely before leaving. Yi Er knew that her mother-in-law was purposely sending her away. She felt inexplicably uneasy. When Jiang Zhao saw that Yi Er had suddenly become so obedient, he was a little unhappy. He felt that Yi Er who had claws was the real Yi Er. When Yi Er closed the door, Jiang Zhao put away the things on the table and placed them on the study table by the window. He also put away the small table and sat on the bed. He covered himself with the blanket and threw a pillow behind him. He leaned against the pillow with an "I'm a patient" attitude. After sitting properly, he picked up the newspaper and started flipping through it. I say, Sister Zhen, don't be like this the next time you see my wife. She's just a little girl. If she scares you to death, where are you going to find a wife like her to compensate me? Be kinder and more compassionate. You have to be a good mother-in-law. You've forgotten your mother when you have a wife. When he heard that Qin Zhen was a little jealous, Jiang Zhao felt that this topic couldn't be too serious. The relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law wasn't something that could be mediated by ordinary people. In the past, he had heard that mother-in-law and daughter-in-law were difficult to get along with. Only now did he know that this was really the case. There wasn't even any conflict, but the mother-in-law already disliked her daughter-in-law. But this was her own mother, so she couldn't blame her, right? Jiang Zhao folded the pretentious newspaper neatly and placed it on the bedside table. He leaned forward and propped his head in front of Qin Zhen. Who's my mother? Who's my mother? Why do I only see a beautiful big sister in my room? Jiang Zhao laughed loudly. Qin Zhen poked Jiang Zhao's temple and couldn't help but laugh a little embarrassedly. You have a glib tongue. Jiang Zhao said, then Sister Zhen is really lucky. Outsiders don't know what I'm like, but you know that I have a glib tongue. Can you give me some benefits? What benefits do you want? Jiang Zhao leaned back in his seat and thought for a while. Then he said in a joking tone, our company has quite a lot of benefits, so you don't have to give them to me. Give my wife some benefits. For example, if she smiles more, she's such a cute daughter-in-law. When she looks at you, she calls you mommy, mommy so sweetly. Before she left, she even moved a stool for you and bowed to you. Look at how you look just now, as if someone owed you tens of millions. You've made yourself look cheap, right? Qin Zhen sat on the stool and tucked Jiang Zhao in. She still felt uncomfortable. This was her biological son. Look at his bruised face. It made her heart ache. If she was a little sensible, I wouldn't have looked at her like that. Can't she see that you're injured? She's 1.7 meters tall. Does she think she's 1.3 meters tall? Sister Zhen, I beg of you. My wife is 1.7 meters tall. 1.3 meters. Do you think you'll agree to your brother Zhao marrying a woman who's 1.3 meters tall? Don't be so unobjective just because you're happy. In any case, she saw that you were injured and still clung to you. That's not right. Jiang Zhao said weakly. It was obviously your brother Zhao who forced her to play with him. Fortunately, Yi Er's father didn't come in. Otherwise, he would have stared at me to death like you. You people only care about your own side. You don't even ask about the cause and process of the matter. He also had to complain about this matter. It was hard to please a mother-in-law, but it was also hard to please an old father-in-law. In short, they weren't biological children. This thing could only be a battle of wits and courage. There were no shortcuts. Yun Hongwei, if he dares to stare at you, I'll teach him a lesson. Qin Zhen was a gentle woman. When she said these words, it was as if her gentle character had spoken viciously. She seemed to be particularly disagreeable and a little naughty. Jiang Zhao always felt that his mother was like this. If she sat or stood in a dignified manner and then spoke slowly, that kind of appearance was truly domineering. Sister Zhen, I'm begging you. Don't come looking for trouble with your brother Zhao all day long just because you have too much money. If you really think you have too much money, give some to your daughter-in-law to spend. I'll introduce you to a boyfriend. What do you want? I'll find you a tall, handsome, and young one. Young one. Aren't you afraid that you'll call him brother? Jiang Zhao said indifferently, it's okay. You're my sister Zhen. I don't mind if you find me a brother-in-law. Moreover, you look like a young lady in her early 20s. It's normal for you to find a young man to date. That's called a talented and beautiful woman, right? Look at your mouth. I'm always angered half to death by you. Before you die, you must find a boyfriend. Otherwise, it'll be too much of a loss, right? Jiang Zhao. Hey, mommy. Jiang Zhao saw that Qin Zhen had raised her voice and began to act cute again. Qin Zhen looked at Jiang Zhao acting coquettishly in front of her and frowned. She reached out to touch her son's face and slowly said in a low voice, Zhao Zhao, regarding your daughter-in-law's matter, aren't you afraid that you won't be able to get back up if you act like this? Welfare, Hongcha 866. Chapter 521. Jiang Zhao knows his injuries are not serious. It's just that there are bruises on his face, and it's not suitable for him to show his face. His mother must have something to discuss with him. Sister Zhen, Grandpa had agreed to support my father-in-law's case. You should know about it. Qin Zhen said seriously. But you are too unreliable. There are already people pressuring you, and you still want to bail him out. Zhao Zhao, you will not be promoted to acting mayor this time. Your grandfather is also blaming you, and he is trying to suppress his anger. Mom. Jiang Zhao changed the way he addressed his mother. Yi Er's father was forced to confess, and there were bruises all over his body. Someone showed her the video of his injuries. If I don't bail him out, my wife will suffer from schizophrenia. She was not normal for 2 days. Qin Jin waved her hand. Yes, yes, yes. From your point of view, you are always right. No one can say anything. I don't care how you pamper her, but you must promise me that you will not drag yourself into this mess. Jiang Zhao laughed and shook his head. Mom, I had already dragged myself into this mess. It's useless for you to blame me now. Qin Zhen was speechless and kept quiet for a while. I think Yun Hongwei doesn't know the rules. He is already out of prison, and we are in-laws. Why didn't he invite us to have a meal together? Although Qin Zhen agreed to Yi Er and Jiang Zhao's marriage at that time, she had always been calculative in her heart. After all, if the Yun family was involved, the Qin family was equivalent to being dragged down. Who would be happy about it? Mom, we are the men's side, and we should invite the women for a meal. Why are you blaming Yi Er's father for not following the rules? You can't say that he is in prison, and he doesn't even need to act like a father-in-law. Furthermore, he has just been released, and he needs to rest for a while. He is already out on medical parole, and a checkup is his main priority. Isn't it normal to have a meal together after he recovers? You don't have to be so upset. Mom, you are always like this, and it's hard for me. Qin Zhen was actually considered a rational woman. She didn't care much about her two sons, but they were both very good. However, one of her sons suddenly got married, and it was a flash marriage. She felt as if something was missing. She was already dissatisfied with her daughter-in-law's family background, and seeing her son so protective of her, she felt even more uncomfortable in her heart. Thus, she was a little unreasonable. How am I making things difficult for you? Her family is like this. How can she be mistreated after marrying into your family? She is good at everything. Even though she saw that you were injured, she didn't let you rest. Instead, she kept playing with you. Did she really care about you? I think she's just used to being a rich young lady and doesn't care about others at all. I am doing this for your own good, and you are still criticizing me. You have really forgotten your mother now that you have a wife, right? Jiang Zhao was troubled by Qin Zhen's first-time mother-in-law behavior. He did not know how many times this kind of thing would happen in the future. He really did not feel good being a sandwich biscuit. Mom, it's not like that. If Yi Er did something wrong, I would reprimand her. She doesn't have the bad temper of a miss from a rich family. She will listen and change. She is more sensible than many girls her age. But you're inexplicably blaming her for some normal things. I don't feel comfortable with that. Jiang Zhao looked at Qin Jin, a trace of disappointment in his eyes. Even his voice was regretful. After all, in my heart, you are a woman who knows how to deal with people. You have a good grasp of everything and you always look at the big picture. Even Grandpa said that many of my qualities are very similar to yours. I am very outstanding. You are such an outstanding woman in my heart, but you suddenly jumped out to criticize my wife. I can't accept it. She sleeps with me every day, but I didn't find so many flaws in her. Tell me, where did you find these flaws in her? Qin Zhen looked into Jiang Zhao's eyes, and her heart skipped a beat. Okay. Mom is just complaining. She is a menopausal woman. You have to be understanding. Jiang Zhao's expression changed. He smiled and said, Yes, Sister Zhen. Your brother Zhao is still young. You have to be gentle. Don't always scare him. It will be over if he gets sick. Qin Zhen let out an almost inaudible sigh. This was her son. Ever since he was a child, even his younger brother would not ask for benefits behind her back like this. Now, he was trying his best to negotiate with her for a woman. Naturally, she was also a person who knew when to stop. Sometimes her temper was inevitable. If she really thought about it carefully, she would try her best to consider her son's feelings. Otherwise, when they got married, she would not have stood out to agree. Others might not know her son, but she knew him very well. He was a bull. Among the boys in the Jiang family, Jiang Zhao and Jiang Rui were the most powerful. They were both men with 3 circles on their heads. Since childhood, they had never been quiet. The 2 younger brothers were more tolerant than the 2 older brothers. They were not like the 2 older brothers, who fought openly and secretly. No one would give in to the other. However, when they grew up, the 2 older brothers' achievements in all aspects were much more eye-catching. Brother Zhao, your sister Zhen is old. Anyway, when you do things, you should think about your sister Zhen. I haven't been eating well and sleeping well recently. Look, my crow's feet are deep. While speaking, Qin Zhen put her face in front of Jiang Zhao like a spoiled child and pointed to the corner of her eyes. Jiang Zhao kissed her and then rubbed it. Brother Zhao, it will be gone after a kiss. Sister Zhen, you are the most beautiful. Don't worry. I will buy you a set of skincare products these days, so that you will stay young forever. Ha! Qin Zhen childishly rolled her eyes at Jiang Zhao. The best skincare products are to be in a good mood. Don't you know? Well, next time when we have a meal together, when I see Brother Lai Qing, I will satirize him for you. I will scold him until you are in a good mood. How about that? Jiang Zhao smiled and promised Qin Zhen. He couldn't help it. His mother's biggest hobby was to fight with her ex-husband who had been divorced for more than 10 years. Regardless of the occasion, whenever they met, she would teach his father a lesson. Every time his mother looked weak and wronged, he would stand up and intervene. He couldn't help it. As a man, he always had to give in to his mother. Otherwise, it would be difficult to deal with it. Afterwards, he would persuade his father not to be angry. As long as his mother won, she would be in a good mood for many days. He would often say to his father, Brother Lai Qing, Sister Zhen is in a good mood recently. Thank you for your help. Impudent brat, be careful that I don't whip you to death. Ha! It's better if you use this method on Jiang Feng. You know that I will run away. Ha! In the hospital's parking lot, a black Audi drove into Jiang Zhao's car. The driver was Lu Qing, who was talking on the phone with a Bluetooth headset. After hanging up the phone, the car had just stopped. He reached out and took a craft paper folder from the passenger seat. He gritted his teeth, gathered his breath, opened the door, and walked towards the inpatient department. Lu Cheng's footsteps were a little hurried. The autumn wind was slightly cold, but there was some sweat on his forehead. He raised his hand to wipe it. Lu Cheng's heart beat faster. When he came out of the elevator and walked to the corridor, he saw a family of 3 playing in the smoking area. Yi Er, Yun Hongwei, and Si Jia. Yi Er frowned and was about to turn his head away when he saw Lu Qing. Lu Qing. Yi Er walked over and looked at the folder in Lu Cheng's hand. You're looking for Jiang Zhao to send some documents? Lu Qing tightened his grip on the folder. Yes. Yi Er saw that Lu Cheng's expression was not right and asked, is it something important? It's not really important. It's just that I'm used to looking for him if I have any problems. I am not a competent secretary. Some of the problems are just trivial. That's why it's too difficult for me to be promoted. Lu Qing teased himself to distract Yi Er. Since he had seen him, he should greet him. He walked over and saw Yun Hongwei. Uncle Yun, how are you? Little Si Jia, you have grown taller. Uncle Lu, can you please remove the word Xiao from my name in the future? Huh, you're so naughty. After Lu Qing was done with the pleasantries, he told Yi that he would leave after signing some documents for Jiang Zhao. Yi hurriedly urged him, hurry up, hurry up. I've delayed you. Lu Qing knocked on the door. Qin Jin heard the sound and went to open the door. She saw Lu Qing. Lu Qing, are you here to look for Jiang Zhao? Hello, Chairman Qin. I am here to look for Mayor Jiang. Come in, come in. Lu Qing followed Qin Jin into the ward and saw Jiang Zhao smiling happily. It was rare to see him in such a good mood. Lu Qing sighed in his heart. Mayor Jiang, I am here to look for you to sign some documents. Jiang Zhao was indeed in a good mood and laughed. Sorry for making you come all the way here. Give it to me. He saw Lu Qing walking over and asked. Why didn't you call me to tell me? Lu Qing licked his lips and looked at Qin Jin. He then looked at Jiang Zhao and continued to lick and bite his lips. Jiang Zhao frowned. He knew that Lu Cheng's expression told him that it was not convenient for him to say it. Logically speaking, if it was an outsider with confidential information, it would be better to be careful. But this person was his mother. Did he have to be so cautious? Even if it was a government secret, he should not be so cautious of his mother. Who doesn't know his mother knows her limits? He knew this was not a small matter. Jiang Zhao said to Qin Jin. Mom, I need to talk to Lu Qing. You stay here. There were outsiders around, and Jiang Zhao did not want to joke around with Qin Jin. Qin Jin quickly understood. She didn't want to get to the bottom of everything. Her son would tell her what she needed to know about the government building. If it was something important, he would tell her what she needed to know in the future. After all, there were outsiders around. They had to keep it a secret. You all are busy. But take care of yourself. Qin Jin said a few more words of concern to Lu Qing before leaving. Lu Qing made sure Qin Jin's footsteps had disappeared from the corridor, and he could hear the faint ding of the elevator. He then walked to the door and locked it. Jiang Zhao felt something was wrong. Lu Qing was indeed a careful person. But this was a private hospital, and the doctors and nurses would never enter the ward directly. Lu Qing was being too careful. Jiang Zhao thought about it and felt the situation was serious. What's going on? Seeing Lu Qing walk over with a serious expression, he could not help but look serious and ask in a low voice. Lu Qing unwrapped the craft paper bag and handed it to Jiang Zhao without taking out the things inside. Jiang Zhao looked at Lu Cheng's actions and frowned. He opened the bag to see what was inside. There were a bunch of photos in the bag. He poured them out and looked at them one by one. Slowly, the roots of Jiang Zhao's teeth left a mark on his face. His thin lips condensed into a harder and thinner line. Who gave it to you? Lu Qing said, Chen Tong gave them to me this afternoon. Chen Tong. What does he want now? Jiang Zhao's voice was a little angry. Add Songshu 566. Chapter 522. He probably knows that he won't be able to get anything from me, so he's a bit anxious. He wants to dig up everything. His meaning is very clear. He wants to see the newspaper. After Jiang Zhao heard what Lu Qing said, he tore the photos in his hand into pieces and threw them under the bed. His sister was the boss. Dong Xuebing was not only angry because of Qin Tong's threats. He was angry because these photos were of Yi Er and Min Zikai kissing at a beautiful woman's apartment. Yi Er was wearing her uniform, and Dong Xuebing knew her relationship with Min Zikai was not that simple. But he did not expect the photos to be so clear. Even if there was a CCTV at the emergency exit, it should not be so clear. Furthermore, Zhuang Yichen should not have anything to do with Qin Tong. This photo should at least be taken on a high-resolution phone. Jiang Zhao reminded himself not to be jealous at this time. He needs to sort things out, but his mind is still in a mess. The photos in front of him are all photos of his wife kissing her ex-fiancé. How can he accept this? Chen Tong can't have been stalking Yunyi all this time, right? Lu Qing thought Jiang Zhao would be furious when he saw the photos. But he did not expect Dong Xuebing to be so calm. Chen Tong will not stalk Madam, but he had been keeping an eye on Family Min's men. After all, he had secured the position of mayor, and Family Min had helped him a lot. That's why he must know young Master Family Min's whereabouts. But he did not expect that the photos of young Master Min's whereabouts would be used to threaten you. He is feeling proud now. Jiang Zhao's rationality and emotions were struggling. The dates on these photos were 2 separate times. The first time was before Yi took the initiative to ask him to help her brother, and the second time was after they were already together. It should be the time when he caught her at the emergency exit. Dong Xuebing looked at the photos and kissed her passionately. Dong Xuebing clenched his fist to suppress his anger. Chen Tong wants to ruin my reputation this time. Are all the people at the news agency related to him? Did he inform you of his main objective? Lu Qing looked at Jiang Zhao, who was on the verge of exploding in anger. He was afraid that he would be impulsive, so he carefully analyzed the situation. His purpose is to prevent you from entering the standing committee of the municipal party committee. However, once this photo is released, it will cause a lot of damage. Not only will you not be able to enter the standing committee, but Madam is wearing the uniform of Peerless Beauty, and the interior decoration of Peerless Beauty is very difficult to fake. Even the gray fire exit is sprayed with the logo of Peerless Beauty. When you first acknowledged Madam as your fiancée, the time in the photo is too close to the time of your marriage. The public will have a lot of doubts about Madam's character. Unless. Lu Qing added softly, as if hesitating. Jiang Zhao looked up and glanced at Lu Qing. Unless what? Lu Qing lowered his head to avoid Jiang Zhao's piercing gaze. Unless you tell the public that you didn't know about those things and have been kept in the dark all this time and ask for a divorce. Jiang Zhao's fingernails were slightly green and white as he held the photo. The force he used was so strong that it seemed like he wanted to squeeze water out of the photo. When he condensed his qi, he closed his eyes and turned his face away to avoid Lu Cheng's gaze. Divorce? Whose reputation is it to protect? Lu Cheng was stunned for a moment. Wasn't this obvious? It was fine as long as he cleared his name. Of course it's yours. Jiang Zhao's lips curled into a cold smile. Divorce? Ever since he got married, the people around him had been hoping that he would get a divorce. Although the Qin family agreed, they had no choice but to do so. They always felt that this marriage was not compatible. No one was optimistic about his marriage. Even the person who married him did not want this marriage to go in the right direction at all. She often said that they would break up. When his father-in-law saw a little wind and felt a little uncomfortable, he said that he wanted them to get a divorce. When his mother saw a little wind and felt a little uncomfortable, she also wanted them to get a divorce. In short, no one wanted his marriage to last forever. He was the only one who thought that it would be better if they could stay together for a longer time. In the end, before they could develop feelings for each other, something happened. Now that he thought about it, he did not know what was so good about that woman. Could it be that he was really a man with romantic interests? T, he would not sacrifice his entire life just to be responsible for a woman. This was really annoying. Do you think I can protect my reputation by throwing all the dirty water on Yunyi? Let me tell you, this is a lose-lose situation. If the photos are released and I propose a divorce at this juncture, people will say that I am irresponsible. Do you think those gossipers won't fan the flames? Jiang Zhao's straight jaw tightened. Lu Qing had been in a state of anxiety all this time. He was only worried that if they were too slow, the newspapers would be out the next day. He had already abandoned Qintong. If Jiang Zhao's boat also sank, what would his future be like? Then, why don't you discuss this with Madam? If she brings it up, you can protect yourself. I believe that Madam should be a person who knows what's important. Nonsense. Jiang Zhao rejected sternly. She can't come out to clarify anything now. The more she clarifies, the more people will dig into it. It will be a lose-lose situation. Then how do we fight back? The sooner the better. Lu Qing did not want this matter to be published in the newspapers. He was no less anxious than Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao said calmly, "You go back first." After all, for such private news about important political figures, the newspaper company won't dare to publish it without permission. Chen Tong will definitely give the order. If you go to the newspaper company now, tomorrow's page won't be out so soon. I will arrange the rest. Lu Qing looked at Jiang Zhao's calm expression. Even if the sky fell and the earth collapsed, he could still think so calmly. He could not help but admire him. After Lu Qing left, Jiang Zhao took out his phone and called Zhuang Yichen. "Yichen, do you have time?" Zhuang Yichen was holding the phone while lying on top of Qiu Xiaoya. "No time." "If you don't have time, then squeeze." "I have something important to do now." "Then you might as well not ask." "It's unnecessary. I asked this to pretend to be a gentleman. Can't I?" "Yes, you are a ***. Why can't you?" "If a bad person is not a ***, then what is?" Jiang Zhao said, "A*** is a***, not me. I am better than you. You are a ***. Haha, right. You are right. Where are you?" Zhuang Yichen got down from Qiu Xiaoya. Jiang Zhao hung up the phone and thought about it. He could not call his father about this. If his father came forward, no newspaper company would dare to publish this. But if his father knew, Yi Er would not be able to survive in this family. Si Jia wanted to go out to play and come back after dinner. The hospital was very boring. Yi Er had to look after Jiang Zhao, so he asked Yun Hongwei to take Si Jia out. Yi Er saw Lu Qing leave and went back to the room. He saw that Jiang Zhao had changed out of the hospital gown and put on his shirt. He was a little surprised. "What are you doing? Are you going out?" Jiang Zhao heard Yi Er's voice and froze. "I'm not going out. I'm meeting someone later." Yi Er felt that Jiang Zhao was a little strange. At this moment, his back was facing her. When he spoke, he was hesitant, cold, and a little perfunctory. This kind of faint and distant atmosphere appeared out of nowhere. Yi Er's heart tightened. "Oh, what about the dinner that Mom mentioned? You guys go together." "I have something to do today, so I won't be going." Jiang Zhao still had his back to Yi Er and buttoned his shirt. He turned around and walked past Yi Er to open the wardrobe and took out the suit he had brought over. Yi Er walked over and took the suit from him. She unfolded it for him. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er's hand holding the suit. He stared until his eyes went numb. He turned around and reached his arm into the sleeve. He lifted it up. The fitting cut and the heavy black color made his handsome face look even scarier. "Hubby, did something happen? Tell me and I'll help you share the burden. I'll thank you 1,000 times if you don't cause trouble for me." Jiang Zhao looked at the mirror on the wardrobe. The bruise at the corner of his mouth would never disappear. He couldn't care less right now. "Mom will send a car to pick you up later. Take Dad and the others to dinner. There's a place for children to play in the hospital. Ask the nurse and accompany Sijia there. The person I want to meet will be here soon." Yi Er saw that Jiang Zhao was rejecting her like this. It was completely different from his attitude before her mother-in-law came. The blood vessels in her heart twisted and it was very painful. "Oh, then I'll go out first. Yi Er's voice was weak. She couldn't stand this man's attitude towards her. One moment, he was as hot as an erupting volcano. The next moment, he was as cold as 3 feet of ice. There was no reason for him to be good and no reason for him to be bad. He was so annoying. Jiang Zhao watched as Yi Er walked out and closed the door. He took a deep breath and kicked over the trash can in the room. She didn't let him have a break. Zhuang Yichen turned the door lock. As soon as he entered the room, he saw the overturned trash can at the door and then looked at Jiang Zhao's face standing in front of the desk. He sneered loudly. "Yo, brother Zhao, you're young and aggressive." Jiang Zhao already knew that he would be like this. If this group of people saw him, they would all laugh at him. The group of people around him were either jackals, wolves, tigers, leopards, or poisonous snakes. None of them were easy to deal with. Isn't it normal to be young and aggressive? Have you heard of old and aggressive people? Haha, yes, yes, yes. Brother Zhao is mighty. You're angry for a beauty, right? Jiang Zhao grabbed a chair and kicked it hard. The chair squeaked and slid unsteadily in front of Zhuang Yichen. Zhuang Yichen raised his hand and pressed the back of the chair to sit down. "Please take a seat. I'm afraid you can't keep up the act of being a gentleman." Jiang Zhao wasn't in the mood to joke. He sat down on the chair next to him. "How much dirt do you have on Qiantong?" "A few." "Throw it to me now." "No, Qiantong has collapsed now, but Zhuang Jingren won't." Jiang Zhao lit a cigarette. There was a murder case at the shoreline Phase 3. Qiantong suppressed the news. The security guard who injured people was fired 5 days before the attack. He can't be found now. What else? Zhuang Yichen's eyes revealed a hint of a smile. Jiang Zhao took a puff of his cigarette. After the owners of Phase 3 moved in, the property management fees were too high for the owners to bear. The property management company didn't let the owners' committee choose a new property management company. The real boss behind the Shoreline Phase 3 property management company is Zhuang Yifeng. It's a residential area with more than 2,000 households and an average of 130 square meters. The property management fees are nearly 4 times higher than normal residential areas. The huge profits are hidden in the sales contract. When the contract was signed, it didn't specify how much property management fees per square meter were. It was only labeled according to the level. Beauty novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 523. Brother Zhao, did Qiantong force you to spend so much money? Jiang Zhao did not answer and asked, "What do you have with him?" "I do have evidence of him playing with women, but it's really hard to get evidence of corruption and bribery. Someone like Qiantong is not someone who hasn't seen the world. If he wants to collect money, he won't do it openly. There are many pawns, so there's no hurry. Give me the evidence of him playing with women first." Zhuang Yichen took out his phone, opened his private email, and sent a compressed file to Jiang Zhao. It's quite exciting. The female leads are all top beauties groomed by peerless beauties. It's just that the male leads' looks and figure are too lousy. Ha! After uncompressing the photo, Jiang Zhao said to Zhuang Yichen, "Tell Qiu Xiaoye not to always mislead Yun Yi. She only recognizes money and not people. Does she have to teach Yun Yi to be like that?" Zhuang Yichen wanted to laugh when he heard Jiang Zhao's judgment of Qiu Xiaoye. It's good that she only recognizes money and not people. She's always been like that. What else do you want? Can someone you raise turn into something else? Zhuang Yichen shrugged lightly. He did not want to defend himself against other people's judgment. Qiu Xiaoye was a woman who loved money as much as her life. However, he had only given her money once. At that time, she said that she wanted to buy a car. He gave her 5 million, and she bought a 2-seater Focus that cost more than 200,000. The rest of the money went into her personal pocket. She was so angry that she did not sit in his car even once. After that, he never gave her money. If she wanted a house, he could decide the location, the size, and the accessories. He was really afraid that if he gave her money and bought a small 30-square-meter house, he would not be able to resist throwing her into outer space. She's not as bad as you think, but I don't know her well either. Women who just like money are easier to get. Jiang Zhao looked at the photos on his phone and sent one to Chen-tong with the caption, "Which one is more interesting in tomorrow's newspaper?" Women aren't easy to get. Jiang Zhao inadvertently said something that was in his heart. Zhuang Yichen laughed when he heard it. "Brother Zhao, your wife is a little troublesome, but you can't stay idle." "I can't help it." Although Zhuang Yichen didn't ask Jiang Zhao the reason, his intuition told him that it was because of Yunyi. Ever since Yunyi appeared, Jiang Zhao's pace and rhythm were all messed up. He was very steady and accurate, but now he was trying to be steady in his speed. Stability and speed, speed and stability. It was clearly just a reversal of the order, but the literal meaning was already 1,000 miles away. Therefore, he felt that women who were purely materialistic were easy to deal with. Something's wrong with being idle for too long. Jiang Zhao thought about it. Just in case, he had to think of a way to make a clean break. However, things like photos, especially in the digital age, were impossible to clean up. As for Chen-tong, think of a way to tie him to your boat. Seeing that Zhuang Yichen was doubtful, he said, "We can't really rope him in with us. It's only temporary. When the time is right, we can kill him at any time." The originally flawless equivalent exchange was undergoing subtle changes as time went by. Chen-tong's photos were not only shown to Jiang Zhao, but also to Family Min, warning them to take care of themselves. Family Min was in the middle of a father-son battle. Min Hongxing threw all the photos in his hand at Min Zikai's face. Disappointing thing. He slapped Min Zikai's face. "You disappointing thing." Lan Chuyue spread her wings to protect Min Han. She hugged him tightly and shouted, "Old Min, calm down, calm down. If you want to blame someone, you can't blame Zikai. It must be that vixen from the Yun family who raped our son. Zikai stopped contacting her a long time ago. You still dare to speak up for him." Min Hongxing raised his hand to slap him, but he couldn't find an opening. "This bastard will kill our family sooner or later." Min Zikai would have been fine if he didn't see these photos. Once he saw them, he felt as if his heart was being bitten by insects. If it weren't for his family deliberately sending him back and forth, Yi Er wouldn't have been unable to find someone to help him. He also wouldn't have gone to Jiang Zhao and wouldn't have been together with Jiang Zhao. Thinking of this, he felt incomparably resentful. There was nothing worse than this. Did I kill him? When the Yun family fell, you didn't think that the Yun family would end up like this, right? The Yun family will rise again. If you don't believe me, just watch. You caused my fiancée to become someone else's wife, and you still dare to hit me. If you have the ability, just take out a big stick and break all ties with me. At this time, Min Hongxing was so agitated that his blood rushed to his head. His hands trembled as he walked around the first floor of the villa, looking for something. As he searched, he said, "I'll find a big stick. I'll find a big stick to beat you to death, you unfilial son. I'll beat you to death, you unfilial son." Lan Chuyue was so scared that her face turned pale. She quickly let go of her son and pulled her husband. She grabbed his hand. Old Min, Zikai said those words out of anger. "We only have one son. If you beat him to death, what will happen? The family Min will be cut off, cut off." Clang! 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 An iron can rolled down the stairs. The sound attracted the attention of the three people on the first floor. Their faces turned cold. The girl was barefooted and wore a light pink sweater. She looked very energetic. Her long curly hair was tied up on her head like a small mop. Her small face revealed a playful smile. She carried her backpack on her back and kicked her feet down the stairs. As she walked, she clapped and cheered. Wow, so touching. The hen protects the chick, and the eagle is the father. This relationship is so messy. If the eagle eats the chick, the hen will cry to death. The chick is the child of the eagle and the hen. The eagle is so cruel, even eating his own flesh and blood. How can the eagle be so cruel? Lan Chuyue looked at the girl and trembled with anger. You shameless little bastard, who told you to come out? It's none of your business. Go back to your room. Why should I go back to my room? I want to come out and watch a good show. The family min is cut off. Does the family property belong to me? The girl laughed louder and louder. When she turned to look at Min Hongxing, her eyes were like knives. Min Hongxing looked at the girl's eyes and asked softly, Qing Su, do you want to go out and play? Qing Su raised her head in an unfriendly manner and said, I want to go out and play. Get someone to send me out. Okay. But it's so late. Be careful. If you don't have enough money, you have to tell Dad. I'm not like some prodigal playthings. How can I spend so fast? Then I'll go first. Hit harder. Qing Su stuck out her tongue at Min Zikai. Min Zikai rolled his eyes at Qing Su. Little bastard. Qing Su felt a pain in her heart. She held the strap of her backpack and said with a relaxed face. Oh, I'm your father's little bastard. In my eyes, you're also a little bastard. Min Zikai really wanted to take a knife and kill this 17-year-old girl. Just when he was about to attack. Min Hongxing shouted, she's your sister. You should pay attention to what you say to her. Qing Su shook her head and smiled. She tiptoed out of the door. She never treated me as her brother. That's because you and your mother haven't been nice to her since she entered the family. Qing Su is a good child. Lan Chuyue was angry. Until now, she still doesn't want to take your surname. She's still surnamed Liu. You treat her as your child. She's just a white-eyed wolf. You're really happy to raise her. Shut up. Min Zikai didn't want to pay attention to this war. He felt that he was forced to get involved in the grievances of the previous generation. He picked up the photo on the floor and went upstairs. The man and woman in the photo were so compatible in his eyes. When he called Jiang Zhao had just sent Zhuang Yichen off. Min Zikai's finger gently stroked the photo. The two people's lips were tightly pressed together. That kind of taste, he couldn't forget. If it wasn't for Jiang Zhao. Hearing the other side answer, Jiang Zhao, I have something in my hands that you'll be very interested in. Jiang Zhao scornfully said, I've never been interested in the things in your hands. Min Zikai sneered, is that so? Aren't you interested in my yi-er? Since you're not interested, then give it back to me. Jiang Zhao was angry when he thought about what had happened today, but he didn't want anyone to feel his anger. However, he couldn't help but speak in a sarcastic manner. Yi-er. Is she yours? Don't you have any shame when you say this? Is there any meaning in your kind of playful engagement? Is it fun to order and cancel at the same time? The game is already over, and you're still playing it alone. Jiang Zhao, I have a photo of Yi-er and me being intimate. I think if I release it, you'll definitely get a divorce. If you don't believe me, we'll see. What photo? Jiang Zhao's hand that was holding the phone was trembling, oh, when she was working at Peerless Beauty. This photo was taken quite well. We were both very moved. Tomorrow, everyone in Haiching will see how compatible Yi Er and I are. We're a match made in heaven. Jiang Zhao hadn't expected that after eating a cicada, another oriole would appear behind him. He had been too depressed about what had happened today. Until now, he finally couldn't take it anymore. He kicked the chair in front of him away. The veins on his hands were bulging and throbbing. Even his voice was trembling as he shouted, "Min Zikai, if you dare to provoke me, I'll let you know that your family Min is nothing. Uf*Ker, get out of here." As Min Zikai listened to Jiang Zhao's roar, a sense of vengeance welled up in his heart. It was as if he had finally won a battle after losing for a long time. "Jiang Zhao, you and Yi Er are not compatible at all. Min Zikai, you'll regret calling me today." After Jiang Zhao finished speaking calmly, he hung up the phone and slammed it on the table. Ever since he met this woman, he had frequently thrown his phone and smashed things. He couldn't control his emotions. Time and time again, she embarrassed him. But even so, he still wanted to hold on to her. Yi Er kept pacing back and forth in the corridor. The soundproofing of the private hospital's rooms was quite good. Even though the environment was quiet, she still couldn't hear what was happening in the room. She only knew that there was a lion in the room, roaring from time to time and scolding people from time to time. At this moment, she heard him smashing things. When she ran over, her strides were very big. She was very tall, so it didn't take her long to reach her destination. But when she held the doorknob, she was clearly inside, but she felt that the distance had increased. She twisted the doorknob open and saw that the man had kicked the chairs and trash can all over the floor. The buttons on his suit were already unbuttoned. When his eyes turned around, they were glaring at her. She stood at the door, panting. She didn't dare to breathe too loudly. Ad Shinwu 799. Chapter 524. She was like a bird that bumped right into a hunter's gun. She wanted to go over and beg for mercy. "Don't point the gun at me. I still want to fly," but she didn't dare. She was afraid that the hunter would shoot as soon as she walked over. At this time, the setting sun was hanging on the small building not far away from the window. It was a large patch of red, like an extra-large blood navel orange. A knife would definitely cause bright red juice to flow out. Her eyes were wide open. They blinked, and became brighter and brighter. The drop of blood outside the building was also reflected in her eyes. "Ah, Zhao." She called out softly, her breath trembling slightly. Jiang Zhao looked at the woman standing carefully at the door. No matter how well he treated her, how much he protected her and didn't let her be wronged, she was still very careful in front of him. It was fine if he didn't see her. Once he saw her, his anger and blood mixed together and he wanted to rush out. People were always so selfish. It wasn't that he didn't investigate when she lied to him about 300,000 yuan a night at Peerless Beauty. He didn't know what kind of mentality he had. In short, he did investigate. He thought that she would have a messy private life, but in the end, she didn't. He felt that it was an unexpected gain. No matter how much trouble she made, no matter how much she schemed against him, he would think that she didn't scheme against anyone else. If she ran to scheme against someone else, he wouldn't have anything to do with her. Wasn't it good that way? But what did she and Min Zikai mean? "Why don't you go and find Dad?" Jiang Zhao asked coldly. He felt that he couldn't talk to her about Min Zikai. He couldn't ask her about the photos. Some things, once exposed, could not be covered up. He didn't know whether he was trying so hard to cover it up today because he was afraid that she wouldn't have a status in the family, or because he was afraid that after being questioned, she would fight back with her fearless personality. If she stuck her head out, she would be stabbed, and if she retracted her head, she would be stabbed. She might say, "Then let's get a divorce." Jiang Zhao, oh Jiang Zhao, is the word divorce really so scary? When I went out, I couldn't find them, ah Zhao. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao. There was a thin throat in her neck. She swallowed her saliva and the tears that she forced back. Ah Zhao, what's the matter? Can't you tell me? It's nothing. Go and find a place to stroll around. Mom will send someone over later. Are you chasing me away? No. I want to be alone for a while. He was thinking, how dare he chase her away. Xianyo was still staying in this hospital, and Min Zikai was waiting outside. She was ruthless. Even though she was married to him, there were still peach blossoms everywhere, and they were all King custom made. Didn't they say that they would wilt after spring? She even had to raise a high-temperature furnace to get rid of them. He had never known that peach blossoms were divided into different levels, and the energy to get rid of them was actually so exhausting. Yi Er stood at the door and paused for a long time. She really didn't know what this man wanted to do. He was so good one moment, and so bad the next. She didn't know what she did wrong again, or what her mother-in-law said. You have something against me, don't you? No. If you don't, then why are you giving me that look? When Yi Er shouted, she finally vented the pent-up anger in her heart. She felt sullen. No matter how much she wanted to be with him, he was always so unpredictable. He could control her mood however he wanted. She walked in and slammed the door with a bang. This kind of action was not allowed in the hospital. Firstly, it would affect the rest of the patients. Secondly, it would make one's character seem too low. Yi Er couldn't care less about those things. She just wanted an explanation. She just wanted to figure out what Jiang Zhao was trying to do. Did he feel so good when he was torturing her? Yun Yi, I advise you to leave this room immediately. Jiang Zhao rubbed his temples and turned around. He restrained himself and persuaded himself not to quarrel. Quarreling wouldn't solve anything. He still had a lot of things to do. Jiang Zhao, you want me to get out of your sight forever, don't you? You want me to never appear in front of you again, don't you? Yi Er felt that she actually had self-esteem. It was just that she had been stepping on her self-esteem to please him. In the past, when she didn't have feelings for him, it didn't matter. She treated herself as an object, a pet. It was only right for her to please her master. But when she gave her feelings and longed for something in return, every time she stepped on her self-esteem to please him, she felt that her self-esteem was like her heart. It hurt every time she stepped on it. She actually hated the feeling of her heart being stepped on until it hurt. Now, she couldn't tell whether she was persevering for her father's sake or because she couldn't bear to. When she saw the man she liked disdaining her from time to time, she never knew that the word cheap could be so sharp and painful. In the past, when she said it, so what if she was cheap? Cheap women didn't want to live. Cheap men could be found everywhere. Cheap people were also human. They could still be promoted. She didn't think that it was a big deal for rich girls to use hallucinogens and take erotic photos to threaten people. Wasn't it just cheap? It was fine as long as she achieved her goal. The process didn't matter. The result was the most important. She didn't think it was a big deal for her to climb into his bed for her brother. It was just cheap. The discomfort in her heart would pass quickly. It wasn't a big deal. But God was always fair. Humans always had to have the right values. In order to punish her, he let her slowly fall into his trap and suffer the consequences. Only now did she know that the real cheap thing was not selling one's body. It was selling one's heart, but the other party didn't want it. Jiang Zhao, what do you plan to do? Do you want me to never appear in front of you again and make you hate me? Ah. Yi Er had just finished repeating her words when the man lifted her by the waist and threw her onto the bed. Her legs were still hanging on the ground. Her waist was bent backward and she felt very uncomfortable. The words that he did not want her to say, she still said it like this. When she said it, he wanted to strangle her to death. He pressed her down on the bed and said, Yi Er, tell me, what do you want to do? What do you want? Tell me, what do you want? Jiang Zhao, sob. Yi Er hugged Jiang Zhao who was pressing on top of her. She pressed her face against his chest and sobbed softly. Jiang Zhao, I want a family. A warm family. Someone will treat me well. Someone will take care of my father and my brother. I want a family to live happily together. Jiang Zhao, I want a family. Sob, sob, sob. Just a second ago, the man had wanted to tear the woman apart, but he suddenly loosened his grip on the woman's neck. He felt that his hand must be ice cold because when he touched the tears on her face was boiling hot, as if it had been heated by a charcoal fire. Even her tears had been heated up. Yunyi. Jiang Zhao buried his face in the hollow of Yi Er's neck. Yunyi. He shouted again. You said that we would live happily after we got married. Do you remember? I remember. I said that we would live happily together. Yi Er hurriedly nodded. It was as if she wanted to grab the man and make him promise her. Jiang Zhao's face was still buried in the hollow of Yi Er's neck. He didn't move, but his hand rubbed Yi Er's face hard. It was as if he was helping her wipe her tears, but also as if he was trying to find support for himself. He was seeking some kind of comfort. His voice was a little erratic. That erratic voice had an indescribable lack of confidence. Yunyi, behave yourself. I know you're still young and curious about everything. You feel that you haven't experienced this before, and you haven't experienced that before. But if you want to live happily with me, you have to behave yourself. Behave yourself. Do you understand? I know. I'll definitely listen to you. Hubby, I'll listen to you. I definitely won't do anything that you don't want me to do. I definitely won't. The man lay on the woman's body. He suddenly felt that he had no energy at all. It was as if he had been drained. He was very tired. It had only been a few months. These few months were the most torturous months for him. No matter what he did, he had to consider this woman's feelings. Would she be sad? Would she be unhappy? Would she feel depressed because of certain things? He had never felt that he had done anything wrong. Even when he was forced to get married in the first place, it was fine to get married. Even when his mother reprimanded him today, he felt that he had done nothing wrong. What had he done wrong? He had only scooped up a person. Was it worth suppressing the anger of the entire family? The person he scooped up wasn't just anyone. It was his wife's father. The person he scooped up was related to how much of a smile his wife had on her face. It was also related to whether his wife's smile was genuine. He just wanted to make his wife's life more comfortable. If his wife was happy, he would also be happy. He felt that this was right. It wasn't worth it for the entire family to be so calculative and give them a hard time from time to time. There were so many officials who worked for their families. They were everywhere. Which official dared to jump out and say that they were innocent and that they hadn't tainted a single cent of money? There were definitely some, but he didn't believe that those who had reached his position wouldn't do so. He had worked hard for the Qin family and the Zhuo family all these years. He had worked hard to earn money all these years and always said that he was the one who had suffered losses. But it was his duty to help them. He scooped up a person for his wife. Why should he be blamed? After today's incident, for the first time, he felt that the path of politics was really tiring. He had never felt this way before. It felt good to be in a high position. Now, he felt that he should be like his brother. He should retire from the army and go straight into business. Squeezing into this path was just looking for trouble for himself. His private life was being watched all day long. It was always the people doing this and that. The people were so king amazing. He didn't believe that those people didn't have ex-boyfriends and hadn't kissed their ex-boyfriends. If the people kissed their ex-boyfriends, should they king get a divorce? Otherwise, should their character be questioned? The people were all reincarnated from the king Buddha. They had a pure heart and few desires. They were as kind as distilled water. He deserved to be kinder than the people. His wife should be even more distilled than distilled water to be worthy of the people. The more he thought about it, the more tired he felt. After Yi finished speaking, the man didn't reply for a long time. She felt a little uneasy and called out softly, "Hubby." No one responded. She pushed Jiang Zhao, but the man didn't move at all. She called out again, "Hubby." Until she heard the man's even breathing, fell asleep. God, she had never seen anyone fall asleep from quarreling. It was too tiring to have her waist pressed down like this. But the man was heavy and seemed to be exhausted. If it were any other time, she would have kicked him a few times to make him get off. But today, she couldn't be so cruel. She felt sorry for him even though he was so rough with her. She still felt sorry for him. Welfare, Hongcha 866. Chapter 525. When she looked up at the ceiling, she reached out to hold the man's head. In the palm of her hand was his thick hair. She gently applied pressure with her fingers. She heard that the top of the head had the most acupuncture points in the body. If she pressed it gently, it would make people feel relaxed. She tried her best to use the appropriate amount of strength to massage him. Then, she listened to the sound of his breathing. It was as if it was late at night and he was right next to her pillow. Every time that happened, she would feel that her days were especially peaceful. Yi sniffled. The ceiling light in front of her had a double image. She blinked and squeezed the tears out of her eyes. The light above became clear again. When she murmured, her voice choked up like a broken teardrop. "Jiang Zhao, you asked me what I want. Actually, what I want the most is you. What I want the most is you." She heard him ask her what she wanted. What did she want? Actually, she wanted a family. Not only did she have a father and a brother, but she couldn't do without him. Without him, it wouldn't be like it was now. What kind of family would it be? What kind of family would it be if there wasn't even a pillar of support? She felt that the pillar of support had changed from her father to her husband on the day of her wedding. She thought about how she drugged him and took photos of him. About her brother's matter, she even went to his door to discuss the terms of exchange. She felt that life was like a dream. When she woke up, everything had changed. It was completely different from what she had imagined in her dream. Everything in her dream was no longer there. Everything had disappeared along with the noisy alarm clock in the morning. Yi sighed. Her hand that was massaging the man's scalp was a little numb. She moved it away and opened and closed it a few times. When the discomfort was gone, she began to massage gently again. He must be enjoying it. She had never served him like this before. He slept so soundly like this. Yi couldn't help but chuckle. She felt gratified but also a little self-deprecating. If only we didn't meet like this. If only I didn't sell myself in front of you so shamelessly, you wouldn't look down on me. If only I didn't despicably ask you to marry me, you wouldn't throw tantrums at me. I know that I've affected your life and even your future. From the time the Chin family objected, I knew that I wasn't good enough for you. Not only was I despicable, I was selfish. I really didn't think so much back then. I was too selfish. I only thought about myself. I wanted to find someone to rely on, but I didn't expect to become your burden. Her nose was a little congested, and her nasal sound was very heavy. She closed her mouth and forced her breath through her nostrils. She felt better again. You hate me to the core. You hate a burden like me to the core. But with your status, I'm sure you won't dare to divorce me. You must be afraid that a vicious woman like me will go out and ruin you after you divorce me. In fact, if it were in the past, I would definitely do that. I would definitely go out and ruin you. I would definitely return the favor. I would definitely not let you live a good life. Yi-er spoke very, very slowly. Not only did she speak slowly, but she would also pause after one or two sentences. When she paused, she would sniff hard. She could sniff with her nose, but she couldn't suck in her tears. I really regret it now. I regret forcing you like that. But I have nothing. I'm afraid of wolves in front of me and tigers behind me. I grew so tall, but it was all in vain. I'm just a fake. Now that I think about it, you were the only one by my side. If I didn't rely on you, who would I rely on? I was afraid that you would dump me. I was really afraid that you would dump me. If you dumped me, what would I do? My younger brother can only be a waiter at a nightclub. I still have a father. I'm useless. You said that I'm a little fox, but I didn't learn anything other than to pretend to be a fox. Actually, it's useless even if I regret it. Really, I don't want a divorce even if I regret it. I'm more afraid that you would dump me now. I feel that I can still work hard. I can still fight for it. I think that if I persevere a little longer, perhaps you won't find me an eyesore from time to time. Perhaps when you're unhappy, you won't get angry at me for no reason. I'm not as beautiful as Yang Yen. I'm not as gentle as her, and I'm not as sensible as her. But I'm younger than her. Although I'll grow old in the future, won't she be even older when I'm 30? Don't you men always say that beauty fades away? Jiang Zhao, I actually just want you. I want both your body and your heart. I know that I'm a little greedy, but I'm still young. I can still wait. But please don't let me wait until the day I can't take it anymore, okay? Yi-er muttered to herself. Her slow and weak tone was filled with inferiority. She remembered the first time she met Yang Yen. When she saw Jiang Zhao walk past her to help that woman up, she felt inferior. Actually, she had always felt inferior since then. In the past, she didn't feel anything. She generously thought that she was purely a sinister person who was just being used. But when another woman appeared by his side, she felt danger. She felt that she was quite inferior. Her face wasn't as beautiful as her temperament wasn't as elegant as her, and her feelings weren't as deep as her. It turned out that when one was compared to another person in one's heart and felt inferior, it would make one feel inferior. Yi-er touched her waist. It was counterbalanced on the bed. It was going to break. She had to move. Otherwise, she would become a cripple. She would be even worse than Yang Yen. Moreover, it wasn't comfortable for him to sleep on his stomach like this. She hugged the man's waist and turned over with him in her arms. Halfway through, the man opened his eyes as if he was startled. This gaze made Yi-er feel guilty. If she had known earlier, she would have let him continue to sleep. Phew, Jiang Zhao exhaled. He sat up and rubbed his face. He turned his head and looked at Yi lying down again. What's wrong? Yi frowned. She reached over and rubbed her waist. Just now, you fell asleep on top of me. Now, my waist is so numb. I can't get up. Jiang Zhao quickly stood up and bent down. He reached into Yi's back and rubbed it. Why didn't you wake me up? How heavy was I when I fell asleep? Are you stupid? The man's tone was full of reproach. His words were heavy, and the woman's eyes reddened. He knew that he had scared her to tears. This time, she was just anxious. He was actually blaming himself when he reprimanded her. However, this made her eyes redden again. Okay. I won't say any more. I won't say any more. Good girl, I won't say any more. Don't move. I'll help you rub it. You can only move when you feel better. I don't know if it will hurt your bones. I have to get a doctor to feel it. Jiang Zhao muttered to himself. Yi twisted her waist. It's okay. I don't feel anything anymore. Jiang Zhao helped Yi sit up. He straightened his shirt and picked up a chair from the ground. He placed it in front of Yi and sat down. Yunyi, a pure woman. Yes. From now on, you have to be obedient like Gigai. Don't cause trouble. Don't do anything that makes me angry. Be a good Mrs. Jiang. Do you understand? Yi had always known that Jiang Zhao liked obedient girls. He liked obedient girls. He liked girls who were sensible like Ouyang Yan. Even Ouyang Yan himself said that Xing Tingting was acting. She was acting as Ouyang Yan. I know. Jiang Zhao reached out and stroked Yi's head. He nodded. This was all he could say. He just wanted her to be obedient. He would take things one step at a time and solve them slowly. However, he couldn't bring himself to get a divorce just because of those photos. In the past, he had thought that Big Brother was a weirdo. No man would be able to stand sister-in-law's incident. How could Big Brother be so resolute? Now he knew that it was just that he hadn't encountered it before. What happened to him wasn't a big deal. It was just that he was more unfortunate than Big Brother. His path was different, so he couldn't deal with it that way. It turned out that all the men in the Jiang family were like this. He just wanted this family to be perfect. No matter what he did, he wouldn't go overboard. Min Zikai had delivered himself to him. He didn't want to be so ruthless. Jiang Zhao got up and opened the mini fridge. He took out a bottle of mineral water and took it out. He sat back down on the chair and took out a piece of tissue to dry the water on the bottle. He then placed it on Yi's eyes. Close your eyes and apply this. If Dad sees it later, he will say that I bullied you. You can't say bad things about me in front of Dad. I care a lot about my reputation. Yi's back was bent. She supported her face with her hands in front of Jiang Zhao. She let him apply the compress on her eyes. At this moment, she laughed. I will protect my husband's image no matter where I go. Don't worry. My husband is a good husband. He treats me very well and has never bullied me. You only know how to flatter. Yi pouted. Everything I say is the truth. I never flatter. Jiang Zhao looked at Fan's tender little mouth in front of him and couldn't help but reach over and give it a kiss. Very poor. Yi was flattered by Jiang Zhao's sudden kiss. It was true that this man was unpredictable. She wanted to take this opportunity to be intimate with him. It could also be considered as a form of communication. So, as she snatched the bottle of mineral water from his hand and held it in her hand. Hubby, it's not enough. Yi shamelessly acted coquettishly. What's not enough? One kiss is not enough. I want to kiss you many times. She pouted and went straight for Jiang Zhao's lips. Jiang Zhao laughed and stepped back. No kissing, no kissing. Go away, you dirty and wild girl. Yi Er jumped off the bed and straddled Jiang Zhao's legs. She hooked her arms around his neck. Who said that? I'm very clean. I bathe every day. I'm very obedient and gentle. I can cook and massage hubby. How can I be dirty and wild? You slandered me. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Hubby, kiss me. Kiss me. No kissing, no kissing. I never kiss casually. You don't kiss casually. How can we be considered casual? We have a marriage certificate. It's legal for us to kiss. Our marriage certificate is stamped with a steel seal, right? Is that so? Yes. Come on, come on. Give me a kiss. No. Come on, come on. The man said as he kissed her. Yunyi, you actually forced me. You're the one who's forcing me, The man's tongue began to suck deeply. His hands also began to move restlessly. Yunyi, Yi Er's breathing became a little hurried. The phone was suddenly noisy. Jiang Zhao really wanted to know how a phone that had fallen to the ground could be so good. Was it made of transformative steel? Before picking up the phone, he pulled down Yi Er's collar and bit on the soft white skin. Let's go home tonight. The hospital bed is too small. I don't like it. Ah. Jiang Zhao knew that Yi Er was probably worried about his injury. You'll be fine after you come back tomorrow to take the X-ray. Okay. Beauty novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 526. The call was from Qin Jin. She was already outside the hospital and had booked a restaurant. She was coming to pick him up. Jiang Zhao's absence made Qin Jin a little angry. After all, he was an important person. However, Jiang Zhao felt that he couldn't split himself up. No matter how many people were unhappy today, he didn't have time to attend this small family dinner. He was only absent to make the family dinner more harmonious in the future. He had to deal with that pile of mess. He couldn't allow a brat to ride on his head like that. If it was an ordinary matter, he would take it slow. At most, he could deal with it in a few days. However, this was not an ordinary matter. After the whole family left, Jiang Zhao took out the phone that hadn't been smashed. Holding the phone in his hand, he sorted out the clues one by one. He had to draw a strategic map for himself. Jiang Zhao knew that it was impossible to keep it a secret from his family. However, he couldn't reveal anything to his elders. In fact, his father was the most effective. His father had always had a fiery temper. However, his only weakness was that he was much more polite to the Qin and Zhuo family than to the Jiang family. He would grant almost all of their requests. After watching for so many years, he could see some things. Therefore, a man's marriage couldn't be casually divorced. After suffering for so many years, his mother was still arrogant. The two of them kept fighting like this and didn't feel tired. The first call was to Qin Fian. Jiang Zhao paused. Even if he had thought it through, his logic was a little messy. Brother, what's the matter? Qin Fian asked in a low voice. It was less teasing than usual. Are you ready to eat? I have something to tell you. Let's talk face to face. Qin Fian was preparing to get off work early. Looking at the schedule on the tablet, his beautiful phoenix eyes slightly narrowed. His knuckles were long and white as he rested them on the tip of his nose. In less than 2 seconds, he said, Should I pick you up or set a place to meet? I'll go to your apartment and order takeout. Ah. Qin Fian smiled. Brother, you're not going to talk to me about big secrets like smuggling military firearms or drug deals, right? Why don't you say that I want to introduce a boyfriend to you? Qin Fian said, sigh. You know that I'm very single-minded when it comes to relationships. I haven't thought about changing boyfriends. Then it's settled. You can call and order the takeout. It's at your place. You're treating. Brother, can I go to your house and order takeout? No matter what, you're still the big brother. Jiang Zhao said as if he didn't want to be taken advantage of. I have a family, so it's not convenient for me to go to my house. Since you're married, I'll treat you to takeout. Okay, 2 vegetarian dishes and 1 meat dish for 10 RMB, Qin Fian said as he put away the pen and notebook on the table. See you later. After hanging up the phone, Qin Fian dialed his secretary's line. Beauty, cancel tonight's dinner for me, or you can arrange for the vice president to entertain other guests. Handsome man, I got it. I wish you a beautiful night, the secretary who was called Beauty replied. You really know how to talk. I'll give you a bonus of 50 yuan. Can't I give you an extra 0? Sure, give me a decimal point and add a 0. Qin Fian had already put the important things into his briefcase and stood up. Handsome man, if you weren't so stingy, you'd be even more beautiful and have better luck with women. Qin Fian smiled. Beauty, I'm very single-minded. I'll get off work first. Don't forget to check in when it's time, or your money will be deducted. Goodbye, capitalist. Qin Fian reached out and picked up his pair of glasses without lenses from the table. He stuck them on the bridge of his nose, pushed them up, took his briefcase and went out. Qin Fian's office area was filled with countless beauties. They all got along well with each other. There was no such thing as a secret crush on the boss and framing each other. Occasionally, there would be 1 or 2 complaints. If only the president wasn't gay. He's so beautiful. What a pity. If he wasn't gay, would you still be in the mood to go to work? You'd be looking at the president's office every day and drooling, right? Yeah, now that I think about it, he's always sleeping with a man at night. I really can't imagine drooling. Anyway, it's such a pity. Qin Fian sat in the back of the car. He pushed his glasses up and looked at the bid in his hand. He said to the person in the front passenger seat, who leaked the news that we're going to take the land in 326. Also, the second subway line is going to pass through there. Who spread the rumor? The person in the front passenger seat was the vice president of the planning department, Lu Yong. Lu Yong also had a puzzled look on his face. This matter needs to be investigated thoroughly. Boss, I suspect, Qin Fian said coldly, anyone with a discerning eye can see the internal strife in your planning department. But if the vice president's annual salary is 1 million, even if the president of the planning department is killed and the company suffers losses, the president will only get 300,000 a year. What's the point? Lu Yong turned his head and immediately tried to clear his name. Boss, this matter has nothing to do with me. I'll definitely investigate it thoroughly. Qin Fian took off his glasses and held it in his hand. His refined appearance was gone, and only a sharp and dangerous gaze was left. He looked directly into Qin Fian's eyes. His voice was not too fast, but it was cold and indifferent. Don't find out who leaked the news. I've seen enough of these petty tricks. I don't care who leaked the news. 326 must be bought at the original price, and the price can't be more than 4%. Otherwise, whether it's the president or the vice president of the planning department, they'll have to pack up and leave. Lu Yong's back was covered in sweat. Boss, I understand. Okay. Qin Fian put his glasses back on, as if he hadn't said anything. The driver stopped the car at Highway Restaurant, and Lu Yong got out. The car started again, and the direction was Qin Fian's apartment, Yuan. Just as they arrived at the garage, Jiang Zhao's car also arrived at Qin Fian's garage. Qin Fian saw Jiang Zhao get out of the car, and then looked at the wound on his face. He was a little annoyed, and his brows wrinkled a little. He walked over and didn't ask about the injury. "Brother, I've already called for takeout. It should be delivered in about 20 minutes. Let's go." Qin Fian's apartment couldn't be compared to Jiang Zhao's new house. It was similar to an apartment in the north of the city, with 3 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. The modern design made use of a variety of fashionable decorations and bright colors. The balcony was spacious, and it was directly integrated into the living room. There was a treadmill, sandbags, mechanical dumbbells, and many other fitness equipment. Jiang Zhao glanced at it and walked directly to the dining room. He opened the refrigerator and took out a bottle of mineral water from a pile of beer, fruit wine, and other drinks. He unscrewed the cap and drank in big mouthfuls. "Brother, if you need something from me, just tell me. I'll do my best." Qin Fian also took out a bottle of water from the refrigerator and unscrewed it. He felt that brothers were like this. Sometimes, there was no need to say too much. You would know if something was wrong with him just by looking at his eyes or some actions. Jiang Zhao took the bottle of mineral water, walked to the sofa in the living room, and sat down. "Okay, I won't beat around the bush with you. I've run into some trouble now, and I need you to help me and ask my dad to help me." Qin Fian also walked over and sat on the sofa across from the tea machine. "Oh. Is it convenient for you to tell me? Do you have any ideas on how to handle it?" Jiang Zhao licked his lips. "You know that your sister-in-law used to be Min Zikai's fiancée. There are very few people in Haiqing who don't know." "Okay, I know. Before we got married, she worked as a waitress at Peerless Beauty. At the time, Min Zikai went to pester her, and Chen Tong, who was monitoring Min Zikai, took some ambiguous photos. Min Zikai also has those photos now. He wants to release them, and once these photos are released." Jiang Zhao didn't mention that the photos were of a deep kiss. His original intention was to draw the line between Yi Er and Min Zikai, so he pushed all the blame to Min Zikai. He didn't finish his sentence and just looked at Qin Fian. Qin Fian took off his glasses. His face, which was prettier than a girl's, now had a serious aura, which was particularly eye-catching. He looked at Jiang Zhao's hesitant expression and said, "Once these photos are released, there's no need to talk about her future. Sister-in-law will be embarrassed in the future, and she probably won't be able to survive in the family anymore. Divorce should be the end, right?" Jiang Zhao nodded, then shook his head. "I won't follow in my parents' footsteps. Your sister-in-law doesn't even know about this yet. Brother, since uncle has to step in for this matter, then I have a way. But we can't just let Min Zikai off like this, can we?" Qin Fian could tell from Jiang Zhao's brief words that he didn't want a divorce at all. Perhaps he cared more about this marriage than his future. If that was the case, Min Zikai, that bastard, was ruining Jiang Zhao's happiness. Jiang Zhao's face was resolute and handsome. At this moment, his teeth were clenched, and those lines were even harder. His dark eyebrows relaxed, as if he was about to heave a sigh of relief. "I know. I'll take care of the family, Min. But you have to be quick about father's side. Moreover, it's father's order. If I go and greet him, I'll owe him a favor. It's a completely different concept. You have to cancel today's news first. I'll give uncle a call first. If necessary, I'll go and look for him immediately. Brother, I think we should let Zhuahao deal with this matter. Min Zikai, that bastard, is too full of himself. How much does he think his family Min is worth? How dare he provoke our family?" Qin Fian knew that whether it was the Qin family, the Zhuo family, or the Jiang family, the family rules always revolved around the principle of not doing things openly. This didn't mean that they had to swallow their anger. It was just that they weren't afraid of causing trouble. In the end, it was just a way to show the demeanor of a big family. It was just a way to put on a high profile. Yes. From tomorrow onwards, the family Min won't be able to live a peaceful life anymore. Jiang Zhao knew that he could negotiate with Qin Tong. Whether it was coercion or temptation, it was necessary to negotiate with him. However, he could also negotiate with Min Zikai, but he couldn't take it lying down. As for Shi Yunwu, because of their friendship from the previous generation, he had already suffered internal injuries from holding back. If Min Zikai, who was not related to him, still asked him to hold back, he really wanted to kill him. The takeout was delivered. Although it wasn't fast food, it really was 2 vegetables, 1 meat, and 1 soup. Jiang Zhao and Qin Fian only took a few bites and were done with it. Qin Fian called Jiang Liqing. His voice and expression were like that of a professionally trained artist who was still in shock. Uncle, good uncle, biological uncle. What Jiang Liqing liked most was to be called a relative by the Qin family. Hey, Fian. Uncle, I'm in big trouble. You have to help me. Don't let Grandpa know. Oh. Add Songshu 566. Chapter 527. Now, the photos of me and my boyfriend have been sent to the news agency. Actually, it would be fine if we were just shopping or something, but it just had to be very intimate. Uncle, you know, it's the kind that is very, very intimate. When Qin Fian was lying exaggeratedly, he glanced at Jiang Zhao from time to time. When he did, he purposely raised his eyebrows. When Jiang Zhao gave him a thumbs up, he continued to shake his head and make up stories, almost crying. It's just that I don't know why, but the photos of us being intimate at home were taken very clearly by the paparazzi with their long canons. Uncle, only you can help me. Although I admit that I'm gay, I don't want to show such photos to others. And if these photos are released, my grandfather will definitely be so angry that his heart will stop beating. The last time I admitted that I'm gay, he was hospitalized for half a month and had to be put on oxygen for a week. You know that. As Jiang Zhao listened to Qin Fian's story, he collapsed on the sofa and grabbed a pillow to cushion his head. Looking at Qin Fian's vivid description of the so-called erotic photos, he laughed until tears almost came out of his eyes. Jiang Liqing found it hard to understand at first that Qin Fian was gay, but after all these years, everyone had gotten used to it. It was fine if everyone in Haiqing knew about it, but at least there were no messy rumors. Sigh, he thought that if this was his own son, he would really beat him to death. Pooh! His son wasn't gay. But he also treated Fei Yan as half a son. There were some things that the family could not force, so he didn't care about it and let it be. But in private, he still put in some effort. Whether Fei Yan was gay or not, he felt that this was a family matter. Moreover, Fei Yan was now begging him in such a soft voice. The old man was indeed angry. Not to mention the extent of those photos, just listening to them made his scalp tingle. If they were really published in the newspapers, the moment the old man saw them, he would probably really kick the bucket. Don't worry, Uncle will immediately send someone to inform them. Jiang Liqing felt that this method was very fast. Even if it was a printed article, it still had to be removed. Qin Fian's phone was on speakerphone. Jiang Zhao heard it and immediately raised his hand to chop. After denying it, he drew a line in the air and made a hand chop at the end, indicating that Fian was going to cut off his escape route. Qin Fian immediately understood. Uncle, why don't you give them a message? Roughly say, don't meddle in the affairs of our Qin and Jiang families. No one should meddle in anything. I feel that this way, it also shows that you don't know that they have my photos. And after saying this, they won't dare to find news about me in the future. Good uncle, I know that although I am a little disappointing, but you have always doted on me. Uncle, I promise that I will be more careful in the future and won't cause trouble for uncle. Jiang Zhao turned over, looked at Fei Yan, and patted his butt. Qin Fian looked at Jiang Zhao's actions and listened to the silent Jiang Liqing sigh on the other end of the phone. He continued, Uncle, I also know that you are a commander and it is a waste of talent for you to care about such a small matter like me. And I also know that uncle has great military achievements and must hate to get involved in such a dirty matter like me. Uncle, actually I also don't want to trouble you, but who asked you to be the only one in such a big family who can suppress this matter? Who asked everyone in Haiqing to give you face? If I look for Zhuahao, not to mention his military rank, his prestige is not even on the same level as yours. If I look for Uncle Zhua, his mouth definitely won't be as virtuous as big uncle's. Once he finds out, he will definitely complain to Grandpa. I really don't trust him. Uncle, if you don't help me, I will definitely be dead. My boyfriend is making a fuss about suicide. Big uncle, biological uncle, please be merciful and save his life. Jiang Liqing felt very guilty when he heard this. What did he mean by saying that he found Fei Yan dirty? This child felt that way. Although the whole family couldn't completely accept that he was gay, they would never use the word dirty to describe him. How could he think of him like that? In his heart, he felt that this child was very fragile. Fian, don't worry about this matter. Uncle won't tell Grandpa. Don't think too much. I will go and greet him right away. Don't think too much. Uncle has never looked down on you. Jiang Zhao and Qin Fian could be considered to have worked together to scheme against Jiang Liqing. After hanging up, they high-fived to celebrate. Jiang Liqing had only hung up on Fei Yan for 2 minutes when he personally used the military base's landline to make a call. After the call went through, Jiang Liqing straightened his back. His voice and posture were also high and mighty. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he started the main topic. Old Zhou, I didn't offend you, right? Old Zhou was puzzled and nervous. What are you saying, Chief? If you ask me, we can be considered acquaintances. You are in charge of cultural news and publicity. You clearly know that there are some things that are disadvantageous to our family. Can't you suppress them on account of our old acquaintance? Isn't the advertising fees in the newspapers better than a glass of wine from an old friend? Chief, what you are saying is really. Old Zhou was already sweating a little. He hurriedly waved to his assistant, Little Li, who had just entered the office. He took a pen and wrote on a piece of paper. What news about the Jiang and Qin families? Really what? Can't you be more open-minded about young people's matters? Can't you give us a way out? Why do you have to be so ruthless? Jiang Liqing said slowly. His tone sounded like he was begging, but in reality, it was a blatant threat. West of the city. Little Li saw that old Zhou's expression was not right and hurriedly went out to take a copy of the provincial newspaper into the office. Old Zhou looked at the headline and gimmick of the newspaper. The sweat on his head became secondary. The sweat on his body had already soaked Wei Qiu's thin sweater. When Jiang Liqing heard that old Zhou did not say anything, his voice became colder. Old Zhou, I have already made things very clear today. I won't go into detail. Just send out a notice similar to a document. It's best that all the big and small newspapers don't get involved in our family's matters. Although I will retire in a few years, even if I retire now, in High City, or even in the Central. Jiang Liqing's words stopped here. The copy in old Zhou's hand had already been squeezed into a bowl. He hurriedly said, "Chief, I didn't ask about this matter. I have neglected my duty. But from now on, this kind of thing will not happen again. Don't worry, all the big and small newspapers in High City will not have any news tomorrow." Then I'm hanging up. Old Joe, I'll treat you to a drink in a few days. I'll treat. How can Chief treat me? Jiang Liqing smiled. How can that be? Are you looking down on me? Old Joe's anger was rising and falling. He was about to have a heart attack. Chief, you're exaggerating. After a round of formalities, Old Joe heard that Jiang Liqing had hung up. He immediately threw the phone in his hand and smashed the copy on the ground. Go. Connect me to the chief editors of these newspapers. When the call was connected, he started scolding. Do you guys dare to publish any kind of news? How much did you guys receive? Are you planning to quit the media industry? Let me tell you, even if you jump ship, no one will want you. If you start your own company, you won't be able to survive in High City. Do you dare to offend anyone? Do you dare to offend people from the military? Do you dare to offend people from the Red Door? Do you know what the princelings are? Do you know what the princelings are? Is your brain filled with tofu dregs? Has your brain been shaken clean by a donkey? Money? Losses? Destroy all the losses. Old Joe's voice was deafening, and no one dared to go in to persuade him. Jiang Zhao walked to the bathroom mirror and looked at himself. Qin Fian leaned against the door frame and laughed. Are you going out for a date? No. I am going to the office. Jiang Zhao frowned as he looked at the bruise on the corner of his mouth. He really didn't want to go out with this disfigured face. Although it wasn't a big bruise, anyone with a discerning eye could tell that he was injured. When Qin Fian heard what Jiang Zhao said, he knew that Jiang Zhao was going to his own company. Working for a deputy mayor in the middle of the night was really tiring. Working for a deputy mayor was really tiring. Oh, so late at night. Are you going to launder money again? Yes. I am washing pens. Brother, can you share some with me? Qin Fian walked into the bathroom and sat on the sink. Change route number 2. Reselect the route. Jiang Zhao flipped through Qin Fian's products on the sink and found a facial cleanser. He opened the lid and squeezed a bottle of facial cleanser into his palm. He turned on the water and started to make bubbles. Brother, are you serious? Qin Fian suddenly wanted to laugh out loud. Jiang Zhao only wanted to wash his face. He wanted to feel refreshed. After washing his face, he took a few pieces of clean tissue to wipe the water off his face. He took out a bottle of water, opened the lid, and poured some water into his palm. He rubbed the water with his palms and patted the water on his face. He looked at Qin Fian in the mirror and said, the previous route was rejected. The Geological Research Institute had sent a report over. There is a lot of underground water there, and the ground is too soft. It is impossible to build a subway there. If there is a cave-in or a collapse, there will be a big accident. We will have a meeting next Monday. However, there is no need to vote on this matter. No one dares to agree and sign the papers. Who is willing to take such a big responsibility? Don't go and get the land in 326. If there is no subway there, it is worthless. Qin Fian thought for a while and said, but there is a mole in my company. He spread the news to other companies that there will be a subway passing through 326. Jiang Zhao laughed. Which company? Zhuang Yifeng's company. How do you know? Just let him go and get it. Raise the price and let him buy the land in 326 at a high price. It was Yichen's idea, right? Jiang Zhao looked at himself in the mirror and reached out to press the bruise at the corner of his mouth. He pressed it and wanted to rub it away. He said lightly, "My idea was tea." Qin Fian sighed and came down from the stage. He stood beside Jiang Zhao and said with a melancholy expression, "Brother, your relationship with Yi Chen is better than with me, but we are biological brothers." Jiang Zhao turned his face and sighed softly as well. He thought about how to tell his brother this. This question really stumped him. After a while, he reached out and patted Qin Fian on the shoulder. "Fian, it is because you and I are biological brothers that there are many things that I would rather ask others to do than ask you to do it. I can make use of others, but I can't make use of you. Yi Chen and I have been friends for so many years. We can be considered brothers. But between him and me, whether he makes use of me or I make use of him, we both have a clear conscience. But Fian, if you want me to make use of you with a clear conscience, to make use of anyone who is related to me by blood, I can't do it." Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 528. Qin Fian originally had a joking expression, but after hearing Jiang Zhao's words, he suddenly fell silent. What was he thinking just now? He wondered if his brother was doing it for others and not for himself. He thought that his brother was so ambitious that he disdained to cooperate with his family. But he never thought that there were some things that he did not see. Everyone in the Qin family knew that Jiang Zhao's rapid promotion was due to his family's influence. Another important reason was that Jiang Zhao had found a very valuable ally. This ally was Zhuang Yichen. In fact, it was dangerous to be Jiang Zhao's ally. On the other hand, it was also dangerous to be Zhuang Yichen's ally. The two of them restrained each other, advancing and retreating together. Their tacit understanding surpassed the trust between ordinary brothers. This was Qin Fian's understanding in the past. Now that he understood it, it was like being slapped in the face. Qin Fian felt a little ashamed. "Brother, don't blame me. I was just a little jealous at first. Let me tell you. My heart is filled with only your sister-in-law. Even if you are jealous, I won't be touched. I've already said that I'm not interested in sex." Jiang Zhao tidied up his appearance and left Fian's residence. He got into his car and turned on the car phone. The ringtone echoed in the car. It was an old song by Kai Qin. Jiang Zhao smiled. It was really old-fashioned. It had not been changed for so many years. The phone was picked up. The woman's voice was not very pleasant, but there was a hint of sophistication in it. "Boss, the preparations are almost done. We're waiting for you to come over for the meeting. I'll probably arrive at the company in about 20 minutes. You can also sort out the information of the Min Group's business for the past few years and give it to me. I've already asked Yang Fan to sort it out in the afternoon. Quickly come up with the overall report." "Okay." After hanging up the phone, Jiang Zhao called Yi Er. "How was the meal?" "It's pretty good. They said that we're going to watch a movie later. Mom has already booked the whole place." "Yes, Mom is a young girl. She likes to hug a bucket of popcorn when she watches movies. Buy her a big bucket of popcorn and a can of cola. The popcorn must be orange and creamy." "Understood." Listening to Yi Er's cheerful voice, Jiang Zhao felt very satisfied. A man should live such a life. No matter how busy or tired he was, it was good to be able to hear his wife and child's laughter. Yes, he still lacked a child. But she was still young and had said that she wanted to go to school. He was afraid that this plan would have to be postponed. Jiang Zhao's car arrived at the Qinzhen building, an office building named after Qinzhen. Nominally, they were all Qinzhen's businesses, and all the companies in them were legal persons of Qinzhen. They were involved in many industries. Jiang Zhao's company was just downstairs of a golden investment. When Jiang Zhao was born, he lacked metal in his 5 elements and was born prematurely. Jiang Liqing was afraid that the child would not be easy to take care of, so when he named him, he added the word golden and a sharp knife beside it. He hoped that in the future, his character would not be weak because of being born prematurely. When Qin Jin gave birth to her second son, she also lacked metal in her 5 elements. Her second son's name also had the word golden beside it. The golden word investment was also a form of consolation for the fate of his 2 sons. The "ZZ" logo was Jiang Zhao's company logo. Every time Jiang Zhao saw this logo, he could not help but want to laugh. Some people said that the father was the daughter's virginity in her previous life. In fact, the mother was also the son's virginity in his previous life. His mother said that one Z was Zhao, and the other Z was Zhen, so he had to use this. This was called the mother and son working together, their sharpness could cut through metal. What was all this about? Therefore, it was not fake to say that she was a young girl. It was already 8:30 at night. It did not seem too late, but from the afternoon until now, Jiang Zhao felt that every minute was like a year. The legal person of the company was Qin Jin, but if Qin Jin came to the meeting materials were all prepared by Jiang Zhao. Qin Jin said that she would not interfere with her son's business. If she could help, she would do her best. The only thing she could help Jiang Zhao was to open this company in her name. Jiang Zhao could not do business without scruples like other bosses. He rarely came to the meeting. There were only 3 people who came to the meeting, him, Gu Qin, and Yang Fan. The meeting of the 3 of them was in Qin Jin's office. Today, Jiang Zhao was sitting in Qin Jin's seat. A man and a woman were sitting in front of the large office desk. Gu Qin was a cold and business-minded woman. Yang Fan was a passionate and aggressive man. The 3 of them were all classmates and had always had a good relationship. Others said that people who were too familiar with each other could not do things together. There would be no rules, and it would be difficult to set rules. But with Gu Qin in the picture, everything became simple. As long as Gu Qin agreed to everything Jiang Zhao said, she would strictly implement it. Even if she had committed a crime, she would take the initiative to ask for punishment. When a company used rules to manage people, the boss would have a lot less to worry about. The 2 of them did not react when they saw the wound at the corner of Jiang Zhao's mouth. The main reason was not that they did not want to react, but because they saw that Jiang Zhao's expression was so dark before they reacted. If they reacted, wouldn't they be courting death? Boss, you want a general report of the Min Group for the past few years. Take a look first. If you want to see the details, I'll give you a copy. Gu Qin handed the information in front of her to Jiang Zhao. She wore glasses. She worked too hard when she was studying, so she was nearsighted. Later on, she could not take them off. Jiang Zhao looked at the rows of numbers and slowly watched the changes in the numbers. It looks quite clean. Yes, Family Min's business is relatively stable. They are not involved in the high-tech industry. So from the accounts, there isn't much of a problem. They are not involved in the high-tech industry. It's better to say that they are behind the times. Yang Fan actually had a hunch when he received Jiang Zhao's call this afternoon. Family Min did not have any competition with their company. However, other companies could not compete even if they wanted to. At most, they could get some scraps. Most of the projects they took were government projects, so they were rich and had a lot of money. Jiang Zhao's wife was Min Zikai's ex-fiancée. Without thinking, he could roughly guess. Gu Qin was the person who did not like to beat around the bush in this kind of meeting. It was rare to have a meeting, so she should say the important things. Boss, our company is doing 7 or 8 things now, but none of them are related to trade. If we really want to compete with Family Min, I'm afraid we will have to start a new business. Jiang Zhao looked at the report and answered Gu Qin. No need. Remember I asked you to register a construction material company last time to make it easier to transfer the accounts. Tomorrow, you can ask someone to talk to Family Min about how to ship the tiles to Canada. The unit price of the tiles must be high, and the insurance price must also be high. The quantity must be large. You can calculate, if something happens to this batch of goods, how much will he have to pay? Boss? Is that all? Yang Fan frowned. This was not like Jiang Zhao's style. Pay some money. If there was really a conflict, just pay some money and it would be over. I have a lot of things to do recently, so I don't have time to come over. Jiang Zhao thought for a while. So, next, if you are free, find someone who is hard to track and register a shell company. Then, talk to Family Min about the goods. You should know how to make it look real. Family Min wants to earn money even if they lose money. Hang Min Zikai and let him smuggle. 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 Yang Fan and Gu Qin asked at the same time. Boss, you are the deputy mayor, and you want to frame Min Zikai after extorting money? What did Min Zikai do? Did he really get into trouble because he snatched Feng Yu's wife? Yes. Jiang Zhao replied calmly. Smuggle. Jiang Zhao repeated and did not forget to add another sentence. It's just like how you all smuggled goods in the past. But you must increase his share of goods. Don't let him get caught so easily like you all. Yang Fan and Gu Qin looked at each other, and the corners of their mouths twitched. They then looked at Jiang Zhao and cursed in their hearts. Boss, are you going to hold on to our weakness and never let go? Also, we were not caught so easily in the past. If not, why would we sell ourselves to you as slaves? Also, we are willing to do so. Looking at their expressions, Jiang Zhao's lips curled into a smile, as if his scheme had succeeded. Smuggle. He felt that it was a light punishment. For the time being, he would think of this. Perhaps when he woke up, he would discover that there was a better way. In that case, he would still have to try. Those who dared to threaten him, and more importantly, those who dared to covet his wife, deserved a punishment that he would never forget. Jiang Zhao, Yang Fan, and Gu Qin had a meeting until 1:00 in the morning. Jiang Zhao was quite satisfied with the data of the quarterly report. Seeing Jiang Zhao nod, Yang Fan said, Boss, should we relax the quarterly bonus and holidays? Jiang Zhao's lips curled into a smile. Even his sparkling eyes were overflowing with a meaningful smile. Of course. An inch of time is worth an inch of gold. An inch of gold can't buy an inch of time, right? Yang Fan's shoulders drooped in defeat. Wasn't this implying that they should have stayed in prison for the rest of their lives, but now they were enjoying freedom outside, which was more valuable than anything else? Gu Qin glanced at Yang Fan and said disdainfully, useless. Jiang Zhao drove away from Qingjin building. He had already told Yi Er that he would go home to sleep that night. Now that he thought about it, at this time, he was so tired that he could only go home and sleep. He was not in the mood to do those naked things that he had originally planned. On the way home, Jiang Zhao tried to be as gentle as possible. If it was just him and Yi Er, it would be better. Now that they were living together as a family, he was afraid that he would disturb the elderly's rest. When he entered the house, he specially installed a floor lamp that only shone around the shoe cabinet. It was not too bright, but it was not so bright that he could not see the shoes. Hearing some noise in the living room, he guessed that someone had probably forgotten to turn off the TV. He changed his shoes and prepared to go upstairs to take a shower. When he walked through the living room, he saw that the midnight Korean drama was still playing on the TV. The volume was very low, and the person watching the TV had fallen asleep with her back facing the TV. She was covered with a thin blanket, and some of her long curly hair fell over the sofa. At this time, he could not tell that she had dyed her hair. He walked over, squatted down, and scooped up a handful of the woman's hair. He rubbed it in his hands and sniffed it. It was very fragrant. She had added some essential oils to the shower gel at home. It was not too strong, but the fragrance was very long-lasting. It was the kind that went straight into the pores. Yi-er felt a little uncomfortable with her hair being pulled. She reached out and hit Jiang Zhao's hand. Annoying. Jiang Zhao smiled. Be good. Go upstairs and sleep. Stop fooling around. Yi-er slapped her again. Awesome novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 529. Jiang Zhao recalled the time when she had tried to bribe him with a thermos. She had also fallen asleep at the door. He had scared her and almost got slapped by her. She still had the cheek to say that she was docile. He scooped her up and carried her. Jiang Zhao was actually very careful, afraid that he would wake her up. However, Yi-er still woke up. Thinking that Yi-er was already awake, he didn't want to hug her anymore. He wanted to put Yi-er down, but Yi-er was hanging on the man's neck. She suddenly retracted her leg that was about to be put down by the man. With a bit of strength, she hung on the man's body like a koala bear and refused to come down. Jiang Zhao did not hug Yi-er and let her hang on him. He reached out his leg to switch on the TV by the stairs and the lights in the corridor. The TV slowly turned off. The lights in the corridor lit up. Afraid of disturbing the rest of the family, he said softly, "Come down and walk by yourself." "No, hubby, carry me," Yi-er said shamelessly. "You're not a child. Why do you want to carry me?" "I don't care. You were the one who carried me first. You have to take responsibility. You can't just carry me whenever you want. If you want to carry me, you have to carry me all the way back to my room." "Oh, you're still being reasonable. Who allowed you to sleep downstairs? Didn't I wait for you to open the door?" Humph, Yi-er felt wronged. Jiang Zhao's heart softened and warmed. He hugged the woman's butt and walked upstairs. "Your little mouth is pouting like a chicken's butt." Yi-er played with her head in enjoyment. "Chicken butt is delicious. Then I'll eat it," Jiang Zhao said and started. He nibbled and licked, eating as he walked. Yi-er admired this man. He could walk so steadily and did not even sway. The man said, "Who told you to wait for the door so late? Don't you know that Shi Xiangxiang is waiting for your hubby in bed?" Yi-er nibbled and nibbled again. "You have no conscience. I was worried that you would lose your balance and fall asleep on the floor. What if you catch a cold? Oh, you care so much about your husband." Jiang Zhao felt that this woman's mouth was really sweet. Regardless of whether it was fake or not, it was comfortable to listen to. Her words were sweet, and it was also sweet to eat. Yi-er covered her mouth and said, "Look at how you're smacking your lips. You're so vulgar. I also want to be a gentleman, but... Jiang Zhao sighed. In the car, he had said that he didn't want to think about those romantic things. In the end, he hadn't even taken a shower, and he had only kissed her a few times. His body's reaction was too fast. Hugging his wife with one hand, he pushed open the door with the other. After entering, he gently closed the door with his foot to prevent it from making too much noise. "But honey, people say that even if you die under a peony, you will still be a romantic ghost. I want to be a romantic, not a gentleman." "I smell so good. Aren't you letting me down?" Yi-er indicated that Jiang Zhao hadn't showered yet. I'll go shower later. Yi Er was surprised that men would do whatever they wanted to do. At this time, men would definitely use condoms. Occasionally, they would forget to use them. Yi Er would also take medicine after the deed. She was still young, and if men really wanted children, they would definitely not use condoms all the time. She didn't want to be despised when she was pregnant. People said that when a woman was pregnant, men were most likely to cheat. Their relationship was still unstable, so she couldn't give him that chance. Softer, softer, I'm very gentle, honey. If I were any softer, I would suffocate to death. When Yi Er was asleep, she kept dreaming. Perhaps it was because she was frightened during the day, but the dreams were all about ghosts and monsters. She saw Ouyang Yen holding Jiang Zhao's arm as they walked towards her step by step. When the two of them looked at each other and smiled, they were so happy that it was as if they were soaking in a jar of honey. Yi Er looked left and right. She had to find a big broom, no, a big mop. Ouyang Yen, this damned woman. Were all the men in the world dead? She had her eyes on her husband. She was so anxious that she stomped her feet on the spot. Then, she searched everywhere. She couldn't find anything that could be used as a weapon. She was so anxious that she cried. It was empty all around. It was like a high-end underground tunnel with smooth walls. There was nothing. No, there was still a fire hydrant. Yi Er felt that she should take the fire hydrant down and spray the woman with foam. Or she could just take the red bottle and smash it at the woman. She would be disfigured so badly that it couldn't be fixed. Why was she so good-looking? Good-looking women were all scourges. Was it so great to be good-looking? Was it so great to be gentle? She wanted to see if anyone would still like her after she was disfigured. The fire hydrant was still in the glass cabinet on the wall. She didn't know how to open it. Everything seemed wrong. Why couldn't she open the cabinet? She turned around and saw that Ouyang Yen had already walked past her with Jiang Zhao. She shouted, "Hubby!" Jiang Zhao walked past as if he didn't hear her. "Hubby, hubby!" She chased after them. However, they seemed to be slower than her. No matter how fast she was, they were faster than her. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't catch up. She was so anxious that she cried and shouted, "Hubby! Hubby!" until she saw Ouyang Yen turn around and give her a victorious smile. Then, she stood on her tiptoes and kissed Jiang Zhao on the cheek. Then, Jiang Zhao reached out and rubbed Ouyang Yan's head lovingly. Yi Er was even more anxious. He clearly only liked to rub her head as if she was a pet. How could he let Ouyang Yen kiss him in front of her and even be so intimate with Ouyang Yen? The blanket on Jiang Zhao's body was kicked off the bed by Yi Er. Although it was a room with a constant temperature, a thin blanket was a must during this season. Just as he was about to slap the woman, he heard her whimpering. It was as if something was blocking her throat as she cried but couldn't make a sound. Yi Er felt like she was dreaming. It was a very strong premonition. The more she thought about it, the more she felt like she was dreaming. However, she couldn't differentiate between dream and reality. She wanted to break free from the dream, but she couldn't get rid of the entanglement. She was so anxious that she wanted to slap herself, but it seemed like her hands and feet were tied. Jiang Zhao grabbed Yi Er's hand and shook it. As he shook it, he realized that this woman was a pervert. She grabbed his hand and kissed him everywhere with her eyes closed. It was as if she didn't care about her life. It was as if someone was snatching her hand to hook it around his neck. She didn't care where she could hook it. It wasn't enough to hook it around his neck. She even kissed him. She even pulled his clothes off as she kissed him. Yi Er finally caught Jiang Zhao in her dream. How could she let go of such an opportunity? Ouyang Yen dared to kiss her husband in front of her. She wanted to show off their affection even more intimately in front of Ouyang Yen. Jiang Zhao didn't seem to care about her. Ignore her. How could that do? If the soft approach didn't work, she would use the hard approach. She didn't believe that she couldn't make him give in. She would kiss him wherever she caught him. Ouyang Yen held his arm, right? Okay, she had to bite his entire arm. She had to kiss the places she hadn't kissed before. She wanted to see who wouldn't be embarrassed. She was Jiang Zhao's official wife. Ouyang Yen was just a mistress. Would she dare to come out and challenge her? Who was afraid of who? Yi Er went all out to snatch her husband from the woman in her dream. The boss of the reality board was about to go crazy from her passionate actions. Jiang Zhao thought that he had a lot of personal matters to deal with recently. He couldn't possibly sleep in on Sundays. Great, now he couldn't even conserve his energy. Since his wife didn't give him a chance, her husband could only comply. Yi Er was woken up by a familiar feeling of collapsing. She opened her eyes and saw the figure on top of her. She was dumbfounded. What are you looking at? Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er's eyes that were filled with shock. He was a little embarrassed. But he had already done it. What else did she want? So he glared at her and said, "You forced me." Yi Er quickly shook her head. She was sleepwalking. Suddenly, she screamed, "Aw! Hubby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." The next day, Yi Er and Jiang Zhao had a battle in their room. This battle made Jiang Zhao come to a decision. It was hard to guard against thieves day and night. In the future, when he went to sleep, he had to lock his room from the inside. Si Jia entered Jiang Zhao and Yi Er's room. Jiang Zhao and Yi Er were too tired from working in bed last night. They didn't sleep well. They hugged each other tightly and didn't feel uncomfortable. Jiang Zhao was a sensitive person, especially when it came to such a private place like the bed. His wife was still in his arms, so he immediately felt that someone had climbed onto the bed. He propped himself up and found that Si Jia had already climbed onto Yi Er's side. Jiang Zhao was naked now, and so was Yi Er. He was furious. What was this rascal trying to do? What was he trying to do? He lifted the blanket and muttered, "I still like sleeping with my sister. I'm not used to sleeping alone." Si Jia. Jiang Zhao saw that Yi Er was probably too tired and didn't react at all. He lowered his voice and called Si Jia. "Ah." Si Jia looked at Jiang Zhao. Seeing that he wasn't wearing anything, he gave him a look of disdain. "Don't you know that you should wear pajamas when you sleep? My sister said that you should wear pajamas when you sleep." Jiang Zhao immediately wrapped the blanket tightly around Yi Er. He was afraid that his wife would be exposed. He couldn't do it in front of his biological younger brother. He couldn't do it in front of his own younger brother. "Si Jia, don't you know that you have to knock before entering someone's room? I never knock before entering my sister's room. My sister isn't an outsider." Si Jia paused and smiled. Could it be that brother-in-law is an outsider? Jiang Zhao wondered if his brother-in-law was some kind of monster with a childlike face, similar to the children of Tian Shan Mountain. He poked people with his speech, beating them one by one with a dull stick. Si Jia, you're still young. You don't know about the matters between men and women, right? What do you mean I don't know? I know. Brother-in-law and your sister are still resting and haven't woken up yet. It's actually a matter between men and women. Do you know that? I don't know. Because my sister used to sleep with me. Jiang Zhao cursed in his heart. Your sister, this is my wife. You're already so tall. You're already 10 years old, and you still want to sleep with my wife. What are you thinking? When I was 10 years old, I started to cheat my brother of the money he won from gambling. You're 10 years old and you still want to pretend to be pure. Ad Hongcha 866. Chapter 530. However, Jiang Zhao felt that he couldn't say that. After all, he was his wife's brother, and he was so arrogant that he couldn't provoke him. See Jia, it's like when you get married in the future, you can't let other men in your bed. Tell me, when you get married in the future, can you let other men in your bed? See Jia naturally knew that he couldn't say, yes. He was actually provoked by this old man. Before he could think of how to retort, Jiang Zhao said again, "Are you not a man? I thought you were a man. So you're still a boy." After saying that, he revealed a look of disbelief, a contempt, and some sympathy. Si Jia had a strong self-esteem. At this time, who said that he wasn't a man? He couldn't stand it. "I have something to do. I'm going to find Dad." Jiang Zhao watched Si Jia leave the room and heard the sound of footsteps going downstairs. He quickly grabbed the bathrobe thrown on the stool at the end of the bed, put it on, and got out of bed. He rushed to the door, closed it, and locked it. Si Jia had just arrived downstairs when he was caught by Yun Hongwei. "Si Jia, what are you doing upstairs?" "Oh, I want to wake sister, brother-in-law, up." Si Jia was a little hesitant. Yun Hongwei knew that Si Jia relied on Yi Er for nearly 2 years. From yesterday's private conversation, he could tell that Si Jia always had some opinions about this brother-in-law, and these opinions were not that this brother-in-law was not good to his sister, but that this brother-in-law always used all kinds of excuses to occupy his and his sister's time and space. However, Yi Er must have his own private life. When he found Si Jia upstairs just now, he originally wanted to drag him down, but who knew that he would come down himself? Si Jia, brother-in-law usually works very hard, and he has to entertain clients until very late at night. So, it's rare for him to have a day off, so don't disturb him and let him sleep a little more. Let's go out for breakfast and bring some back for them later. I'm not going. Dad, go and wake sister up. Let her go with us. Brother-in-law works late, but sister doesn't. Sister can wake up early and go with us. Si Jia said as he wanted to run upstairs. Yun Hongwei grabbed Si Jia and dragged him to the door. "No, you have to go out with me for breakfast right now." Jiang Zhao's early morning dreams were all messed up by Si Jia. Even though nothing unpleasant happened, he still felt as if there was a shadow cast over him. Just as he was about to go back to sleep, he felt the door open again. Someone had climbed onto his and Yi Er's bed again. After falling asleep for a while, he had an erotic dream. In the dream, he was having sex with Yi Er. In the end, someone pushed the door open and his wife was naked on the bed. Jiang Zhao really didn't want to think about it anymore, so he simply got out of bed. He basically didn't need to care about Min Zikai's matters anymore. He didn't need to care about the unorthodox smuggling. His 2 classmates were familiar with it, so they knew the ropes. When the time came, he would just use his power and resources to take advantage of the situation. He felt that there wasn't any sense of accomplishment in doing this and that it was too easy. However, if he made it too complicated, he felt that it would be a waste to spend too much effort on a small character like Min Zikai. There were plenty of young masters from wealthy families in Haiqing. There weren't many rare ones. He didn't know where his premonition came from, but he felt that the most dangerous person was still in the hospital he stayed in yesterday. When Jiang Zhao got out of bed, washed up, and went downstairs, Yun Hongwei had already bought breakfast and brought Si Jia back. Looking at the soy milk, fried dough sticks, and buns, Jiang Zhao didn't have much of an appetite. Yi Er was too tired yesterday, so she didn't make breakfast today. Actually, after they got married, Yi would make some porridge, boiled 2 eggs, and mixed with some shredded kelp for breakfast. She also had small wontons in the fridge. Otherwise, she would fry some single-sided eggs, make a few slices of bread, and squeeze some juice. As long as it wasn't something that was ready to be eaten, Yi would finish cooking and go back to sleep. He got out of bed and threw the bowl away after eating. Yi would wash the bowl after getting out of bed. Therefore, although they hadn't been married for long, he always felt that Yi was very sensible. Other than being a little crafty, she was good at everything else. Looking at the pile of fried dough sticks and buns, Jiang Zhao didn't have any appetite at all. He couldn't blame his father-in-law. There wasn't anyone at home who specialized in cooking breakfast, so he couldn't be calculative. He said thanks and sat down to eat. After drinking a mouthful of soy milk, Yi went downstairs. Seeing Jiang Zhao eating, she ran over and took the food away, grumbling, "Why did you buy these to eat? It's okay if you eat them, but CGI is still growing. The oil on the outside isn't clean. Can you eat these fried dough sticks? Soy milk is water. Don't you have a soy milk machine at home if you want to drink it? Why didn't you call me if you were too lazy to make it? The meat in the buns isn't good. Si Jia will have diarrhea if he eats them." Seriously. Yi was clearly concerned about Jiang Zhao. This made Jiang Zhao's heart feel stifled. What was it? It was okay if he ate them. So it was okay if Si Jia ate them. She slept with him every day for so long. Was he not as important as his brother-in-law? Brother-in-law was the one who was precious. Brother-in-law was the amazing one. Brother-in-law was the little emperor. "I'm not eating anymore." Jiang Zhao threw the food in his hands on the table and went upstairs to change. Yun Hongwei quickly said, "Yi why are you blaming Jiang Zhao? Si Jia and I went to buy them. I couldn't get these things, so I thought it would be better to buy some ready-made ones. Why are you so particular?" You even scolded him. It was the wedding night. Oh, Yi knew that she had angered the old master. "Dad, wait a moment. I'll make some breakfast again." She quickly went to the kitchen as she spoke. Jiang Zhao changed his clothes angrily. From time to time, he would glance at the door. This woman was getting bolder. She had angered him, but she didn't chase after him to ask, persuade him, or apologize. She was still in the right. After waiting for half a day, she still didn't come. She wasn't coming back for lunch. When Jiang Zhao went downstairs, Yi had just finished preparing breakfast. She didn't have time to make bread, so she cooked a pot of wontons and fried an egg for everyone. She placed it on the table. Jiang Zhao didn't eat breakfast. He wanted to eat the wontons when he saw them. Yi's wontons were always better than the ones outside. The first time he ate them, he felt that his brother-in-law was really lucky. Yi would always search for new things online to make so that Si Jia could eat more. Everything was delicious. The shrimp stuffing had also been seasoned. The egg white had been pinched, so it was very smooth and fresh. He walked slowly, waiting for Yi to call him to eat together. However, when he was almost at the door, the woman still hadn't called him for breakfast. Was she trying to rebel? Just as he was about to turn around and question her, Yi ran over. "What are you doing? I cooked so many wontons. It's a pity that you didn't eat them and threw them away. Let me tell you, I spent a long time peeling the shrimp stuffing after buying them. I won't throw them away. If you dare to leave without eating breakfast, I'll leave them there for you. Even if you come back after midnight, you have to eat them." When Jiang Zhao heard this, he felt that it was exactly what he wanted. However, he also wanted to save face, right? "What did you say? You actually want me to eat leftovers?" Yi Er snorted. It was yours to begin with. If you dare to leave any leftovers, I dare to let you eat them. I don't want to eat leftovers. Besides, if I leave the wontons for supper, what will they look like? How can I eat them? Jiang Zhao said very confidently. So go and eat them now. Yi Er snatched the briefcase from Jiang Zhao's hands and turned to leave. Jiang Zhao took off his half-worn shoes and muttered, I've never seen a woman like you who can force people to eat breakfast. He changed back into his slippers and returned to the dining room. He thought to himself that his father-in-law probably didn't hear what he said. He only said that when he saw that there was no one in the dining room. Yi Er divided the wontons into bowls and placed eggs on a small plate for each of them. She set the plate and called out, Dad, Sijie, breakfast is ready. Come and eat. Dad, I told you not to go out for breakfast. Sister's cooking is very good. The family sat around the dining table and enjoyed breakfast. Yes, yes. It's very good. It's better than the seafood wontons outside. When Yun Hongwei ate, he only took small bites. It tasted very good, but he felt a little sad. His daughter never knew how to cook breakfast in the past. There were specialized servants in the kitchen at home. Dad, sister also knows how to cook a lot of delicious food. She cooks better than restaurants. That's why I hate going to boarding school. I can only eat sister's cooking 2 days a week. Sijie was actually a very smart child. He knew what happened at home. He also knew the changes at home. Even though he sometimes complained about Jiang Zhao snatching his sister away, he could still feel some of Jiang Zhao's special abilities. Although he didn't know much about it, he could more or less feel some of it. At this time, there were some hidden meanings in his words. In any case, Yi Er understood. No one said anything. Yun Hongwei couldn't make any requests to Jiang Zhao. He felt that it was good for Sijie to go to boarding school. After all, no one was free now. Picking him up and dropping him off was a troublesome matter. Jiang Zhao pretended not to understand. He only brought him back once a week and he wanted to crawl into his wife's bed. If he stayed at home every day, wouldn't it be terrible? He couldn't wait for his brother-in-law to graduate from university tomorrow and start working. Then he would move out of the house. Dad, Sijie isn't joking. Yi Er's cooking is really good. Now I have to work out for a quarter longer because I eat too much. After Jiang Zhao finished speaking, he continued to eat his wontons and drank 2 mouthfuls of soup. Sijie looked at Jiang Zhao in disappointment. He used his eyes to tell Jiang Zhao that this wasn't the main point. This wasn't the main point. The main point wasn't whether the food was good or not. It was the problem of boarding school. Yi Er actually has talent in this area. I really didn't expect his cooking skills to be so good. Yun Hongwei smoothly changed the topic. Jiang Zhao had just come out of the house and went downstairs when he received a call from his father, Jiang Liqing. He was scolding him over the phone. Good on you, Jiang Zhao. You are looking down on me more and more. Jiang Zhao's heart skipped a beat. His intuition told him that yesterday's incident had been exposed. But with his father's character, he definitely wouldn't ask about the contents of the photos. Could it be that the other party had said it? No one would be so stupid, right? If there was going to be thunder this time, then he could only accept it. Jiang Zhao walked to an empty space to prevent anyone from overhearing his phone call. He called out, Dad. Jiang Liqing had a belly full of anger, but he couldn't find anyone to vent it on. Jiang Zhao, this rascal, was doing this on purpose. How dare you do what you did last night? Bastard! Jiang Zhao took a deep breath and said, Dad, it's my fault. You know it's your fault. How could you do such a thing? Jiang Liqing roared into the phone. Attention, Songshu 566. Chapter 531. Dad, calm down. Jiang Zhao exhaled. He had thought that he would be exposed, but he didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Why should I calm down? You don't treat me as your dad at all. You asked your mom to have dinner with the in-laws. You should have arranged for me to have dinner with the in-laws. I'm the head of the family. Jiang Zhao's heartstrings suddenly relaxed. Oh my God. He was so scared that he was about to have a heart attack. His father's thoughts should have been easy to guess, but he was confused at this time. It was too exciting. He thought that he had been exposed. Dad, this is my fault. You know Mom's temper. I was willing to arrange it for you, but Dad, I really couldn't persuade Mom. Jiang Liqing snorted. Sophistry. Jiang Zhao knew very well that no one in the family had taken the initiative to have dinner with his father-in-law. His father only said this because his mother had gone to the dinner yesterday. His mother had gone on behalf of the groom's parents. He wanted to go with his mother, but he didn't say it directly. Instead, he scolded him. He really didn't have the attitude of a beggar. However, Jiang Zhao didn't dare to provoke Jiang Liqing at this time. Seeing that his father had helped him a lot last night, he didn't care about a certain person's bad temper. Dad, I actually wanted to arrange a dinner party tonight. It just so happens that Si Jia is on holiday, and my father-in-law is at home. Yi Er is also free, and I'm also resting. Let's have a family gathering. Jiang Liqing hesitated. Jiang Zhao said, Tonight, I'll purposely tell Mom that I'll be a few minutes late. You arrive first and choose a seat first. How about that? Jiang Liqing seemed to have gained a huge advantage. Okay, let me know when you've decided on a place. Okay. Jiang Zhao hung up the phone and said to himself, Brother Liqing is so pretentious. He clearly wants to hear if Sister Zhen is going. Jiang Zhao had just booked a table at the restaurant when Qin Fian called to urge him. Brother, do you want to know how awe-inspiring Uncle was last night? I have some gossip. Rumors are definitely not as exciting as the real Brother Liqing. With that look of his, I don't even need to say anything to know how he scares people. Jiang Zhao had already walked to his car. He took the keys and unlocked the car. By the way, let's have dinner together tonight. If you leave the Qin family's house, you can pick Grandpa up. If you don't, I'll pick you up. Grandpa has a driver. It's different. Today is a family banquet. Qin Fian smiled helplessly. I understand. As a junior, I should act like one, right? What Grandpa cared about the most was vanity. He wanted all the wealthy families in Haiqing to see how filial his children and grandchildren were. Even when they knew that he had a chauffeur, they still went to pick him up personally, right? Haha. Jiang Zhao got into the car and started it. Don't talk nonsense, or I'll tell on you. Jiang Zhao had an appointment with Zhuang Yichen. Chen Tong's photos were in Zhuang Yichen's hands, so he basically couldn't touch them. In addition, Zhuang Yichen had Jiang Zhao behind him, whom Chen Tong didn't know about. How could he win? Zhuang Yichen's mood wasn't quite right today. Jiang Zhao noticed that he was always in a daze. In his mind, Zhuang Yichen would never be like this. Yichen, what's the matter? Zhuang Yichen lit a cigarette and took a puff. Nothing. After a few puffs, he finished the cigarette and put it in the ashtray. Brother Zhao, regarding Chen Tong's matter, you don't have to worry about me not making progress. I said that I'll help you clear these obstacles, so I'll help you clear them. When the time comes, just don't forget about my benefits. Of course. Jiang Zhao also felt that he had been a little anxious these past 2 days. All right then. I'll be busy during this period of time, so I won't look for you. After Jiang Zhao left, Zhuang Yichen lit another cigarette and slowly paced around Zhao Jun's private room. In this private room, even if he closed his eyes and walked around randomly, he wouldn't touch anything. Perhaps it was because he was familiar with it, or because he had a strong sense of danger, so when he was about to touch danger, he would be on high alert. He closed his eyes and raised his head. He seemed to like wearing black. Although there were some thin silver threads on the black material today, the main body of his clothes was heavy. At this moment, his calm face looked more like the Black Sea, as if there were terrifying waves about to roll up under it. After a while, someone knocked on the door of the private room. "Come in," he shouted. A man with a scar on his nose walked in and greeted respectfully, "Boss." Zhuang Yichen looked at the man with the scar on his nose. He was about to speak, but he stopped. He still needed to think about this problem. The man with the scar on his nose looked at Zhuang Yichen and didn't dare to ask more. He just stood there and waited until Zhuang Yichen walked in front of him. He began to coldly order, "Go and investigate the past between the young master of the Kong family, Kong Yun, and Qiu Xiaoya. When they met, when they separated, and why they separated, I want to know everything clearly." The man with the scar on his nose was shocked, but he agreed readily, "I'll do it right away. You can leave." After the man with the scar on his nose left the private room, Zhuang Yichen called Qiu Xiaoya. "Have dinner with me tonight." "I don't have time," my sister said. "I'll tell you where to eat later. Remember to wear a red dress." Then he hung up the phone. She dared to be so unruly because he gave in to her too much. He wanted to see how arrogant she could be. Zhuang Yichen was the same as Jiang Zhao. They were both male chauvinistic. When everything was going smoothly, they would pretend to be magnanimous and show their so-called respectable gentlemanly demeanor to deceive the world. However, when there were obstacles that affected their pace or mood, they would reveal the most domineering side of their nature. They would boldly and decisively flatten all obstacles, including women's tempers. The Qin family booked a super luxurious private room in Haiyue restaurant that night. The private room was large and luxurious, like a well-decorated European-style palace. The reception desk and the guest lounge were far away. The guests were still chatting. The waiters placed tea, fruits, and other snacks on the table and stood at the reception desk, waiting for the guests' orders. When Yi met Xia Qian here, she was too surprised, so she went to the reception desk to chat with her. When Xia Qian saw Yi, it was as if she saw money. She intimately approached her. Yi, it's hard for me to work the night shift on Sundays. Your family is rich, and you're now the wife of a rich family. Order the more expensive dishes." Xia Qian was a little abnormal because of Shinkai that day. Whenever someone ordered a dish and asked a few questions, her intuition told her that they wanted to order egg fried rice. Yi smiled mischievously. She whispered to Xia Qian, Qian, I came with my parents-in-law today. If I don't know my limits, they will think that I'm not a good daughter-in-law who knows how to manage the family. Will you compensate for the loss? But if you don't order the more expensive dishes, you won't be able to show your family's ability. Your parents-in-law will also be angry. Xia Qian made up a story. Oh, this problem sounds very serious. Yi looked at Xia Qian's work uniform and wanted to laugh. When she was at Peerless Beauty, she also hoped that the guests would order more alcohol so that the commission for the drinks would be higher. She didn't expect Xia Qian to be even more despicable. She caught someone she knew and even ordered the more expensive dishes. They said that they would only choose the right dishes and not the expensive ones. I still have to order according to everyone's preferences. Xia Qian said, expensive. Good dishes are expensive. Good dishes are right. That's why I said that the right dishes are expensive. If you choose the expensive ones, then it must be the right ones. Qian, you studied broadcasting. I can't win against you, but I can definitely win against you if I'm unreasonable. Believe it or not, if you do this again, I'll order a plate of egg fried rice for everyone. Xia Qian was stunned. Yunyi, if you do such a wicked thing, I'll break off our friendship. Yi Er took a deep breath. I beg you to break off our friendship. The private room was very big. The two of them were at the service desk in the private room, so no one else could hear them. Qin Fian slowly walked over and pushed up his glasses. Sister-in-law, have you ordered the dishes? Is it because the service staff is not good enough and the dishes are too difficult? It was impossible for Xia Qian to say that she didn't know Qin Fian. There were 4 handsome men in Haiqing: Jiang Zhao, Zhuang Yichen, Qin Fian, and Zhua Hao. Someone once did an investigation, and the result was she wanted to marry Jiang Zhao. Not only was he good-looking, he had never been involved in any scandals. He was also very approachable. Marrying such a man was not only pleasing to the eye, but also reassuring. She wanted to look for Zhuang Yichen. He was rich and mysterious. If he smiled, he could make millions of girls in Haiqing daydream. She wanted to look for Qin Fian. He was too handsome, but unfortunately, he was gay. Many people were overjoyed when they found out that Qin Fian was not gay. Zhua Hao was a bronze-skinned handsome military man. He gave people a sense of security. But people said that Zhua Hao was hard to sleep with. He was probably harder to sleep with than Qin Fian. That person was very old-fashioned. But Xia Qian was like other women. Even when she saw Qin Fian's handsome face, she only felt pity. Anyway, such a handsome man would not be her boyfriend. So, she didn't need to be too polite. Yi Er said that the egg fried rice was annoying enough. Now, there was another person who said that she was not polite enough. Maybe it was because there were people she knew in this house. Her good friend's husband was the mayor. What was she afraid of? At this moment, Xia Qian had forgotten some of the rules of the service industry. So, she bowed to Qin Fian. This beauty, what do you like? Let me introduce some dishes to you. Yi Er secretly took a look at Qin Fian. It's over. It's hard to pretend to be a gentleman anymore. Jiang Zhao saw that the situation was not right and also walked over. Qin Fian's phoenix eyes were very beautiful. His eyes were obviously charming, but at this moment, they were like knives. Yi Er felt that he could not leave Xia Qian alone. Oh, Fian, let me introduce you. This is a friend of mine. Her name is Xia Qian. She is a student of the media college. She works here to earn some money for her school fees. Then he turned to Xia Qian and said, Qian, this is my husband's cousin, Qin Fian. He is the young master of the Qin family. Xia Qian snorted dismissively. Oh, Qin Fian did not look at Yi Er. He pushed up the glasses on his nose and looked at Xia Qian with disdain. Tsk. This kind of person can also study in the media college. Is the media college unable to recruit students? Are they pulling everyone into the media college? Oh, I am a woman. Xia Qian said seriously, a woman with a gender. Qin Fian knew that Xia Qian was mocking him for being neither a man nor a woman. He sneered, men are made of mud and women are made of water. No matter how I look at you, I feel that you are made of cement. Are you a woman? Awesome novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 532. Xia Qian also replied. That's right. Everyone says men are made of mud, and women are made of water. No matter how I look at you, you look like you are made of plasticine. Are you sure you are Mayor Jiang's cousin and not his cousin? Jiang Zhao hugged Ye's shoulders and did not allow her to speak. He wanted to watch a good show. Qin Fian, this rascal, also got provoked outside. This was news. Qin Fian was friendly to his siblings at home. But outside, he was like a crab. He can do whatever he wants. Xia Qian was really like Chou Xiaoye. Did they eat leopard's guts? What do you mean by plasticine? Qin Fian thought. If it were not for his sister-in-law, he would have thrown this woman out of his room. He should not be ungentlemanly in front of a lady. Of course, this lady did not include Xia Qian. Xia Qian looked at Qin Fian with an intoxicated expression. She looked like she was looking at AV, and her voice slowly became weird. Plasticine is the type that you can knead however you want. It is very soft. Xia Qian suddenly thought of something. She put away her expression and became more serious, as if she had become closer to Qin Fian. Her change was too fast, making the people around her a little uncomfortable. Hey, I heard you're gay. Are you a top or a bottom? I have read a lot of erotic novels. You are so pretty, and you should be a bottom, right? You should be a bottom who knows how to act coquettishly. You should be very gentle and soft. A soft bottom. Will I get popped? As Xia Qian spoke, she was no longer sarcastic. She had entered a state of thirst for knowledge. She completely ignored Qin Fian's gloomy face and acted like a real media reporter. Is it really the same as what is written in the novels? Will it be more enjoyable than being with a woman? Is it really so good to be raped? Jiang Zhao stood at the side and hugged his uneasy wife. He ignored Qin Fian's impulse to throw away the glasses he used to pretend to be refined. He fanned the fire and asked, Fian, what do you mean by a bottom? What do you mean by a soft bottom? Are you really so gentle when you are a bottom? Wow, I still don't know. What do you mean by being raped? Why don't you tell us about it? Qin Fian didn't expect that Jiang Zhao would also interfere. He clearly wanted to watch a good show and even wanted to protect this girl. Brother, so this is what it means to kick someone to the curb after they've outlived their usefulness. He spoke a little loudly and deliberately spoke to the side where there were more people. Jiang Zhao saw that something was amiss. This brat wanted revenge. After all, he was the only one who knew about last night's incident. So he immediately turned the spearhead to Xia Qian and said, I heard that the Sea Moon restaurant's food takers get a commission. Then hurry up and apologize to young Master Fei Yan. Xia Qian scratched her head and suddenly understood. Mayor Jiang, are you treating us today? To order good dishes. Of course. If you want me to order egg fried rice, you don't have to apologize. Once Xia Qian heard that she was going to order good dishes, she immediately gave Qin Fian a 90-degree bow. After standing up straight, she spoke with a flattering smile. Young Master Fian, please forgive me. I'm young and ignorant. I'm sorry that my rude remarks made you angry. You're a magnanimous person. You won't lower yourself to the same level as me. I'll serve you some tea to ease your anger later as an apology. After that, she bowed to Qin Fian again. Qin Fian didn't know whether he should go up or down now. Xia Qian felt that something was wrong. This young master was still putting on airs. Tonight's abalone, ginseng, shark's fin, and stomach better not be replaced by egg fried rice. Thus, she bowed to Qin Fian again. The people who were sitting and chatting saw the situation here and frowned. What happened? This little girl kept bowing to Fian as if she was apologizing. Qin Fian straightened his arms. If someone wanted to treat him like a big boss, then he would accept it. Moreover, this girl had just made him lose face. What top and bottom? What chrysanthemum explosion? She must have wanted to die. Xia Qian bowed and stood up straight. Yi Er wiped her sweat and shook Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao gently patted her shoulder and stood at the side. Xia Qian looked at Qin Fian and said sincerely, "Young Master Fian, please forgive me. You are born in a prestigious family and have the demeanor of a big family. The way you speak and handle things is different from me, a girl from a poor family. In the future, I will be more careful with my words and actions. I will not cause trouble for young Master Fian anymore." Old Master Qin walked over and shouted, "Fian, what are you doing? This little girl has already apologized to this extent, why are you still acting like this? As long as I'm here, you better keep your bad habits in check." Qin Fian had lost all his face this time. Xia Qian immediately waved her hand and said, "Old Master Qin is too serious. I spoke too much just now. It's not young Master Fian's fault. It's all my fault. Please don't blame him." Qin Fian glared at Xia Qian and said through gritted teeth, "Shut up." Old Master Qin snorted, "Go away. This little girl is trembling because of you." Xia Qian raised her eyebrows proudly. Yi Er saw Old Master Qin dragging Qin Fian away and whispered to Xia Qian, "How dare you be like this in front of grandfather? Ha, Old Master Qin is famous for caring about his reputation. You know." After saying that, she lowered her head and laughed evilly. Jiang Zhao lowered his head and whispered in Yi Er's ear, "Your disciple is too sneaky." "Wrong. I'm her disciple who hasn't finished her apprenticeship. I'm too pure and innocent. I can't reach her level at all." Jiang Zhao kissed Yi Er on the forehead. "My wife is too humble." Xia Qian saw that the two of them were lovey-dovey. She shook off the goosebumps and walked away. "I can't take it anymore. I'm going to ask Old Master what he wants to eat." Yi Er often couldn't tell what kind of person Jiang Zhao was. When he was nice to her, when he was gentle, her heart couldn't help but squeeze. When he squeezed, he wouldn't let go. It didn't hurt, but it made her feel like he was holding on tightly and she was afraid to breathe. "Hubby, have you fallen in love with me?" Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao longingly. Jiang Zhao wanted to break through Yi Er's defenses with one look. He wanted to see the bottom of her eyes. At this moment, they were so clean, just like when she pretended to be pitiful, her eyes were full of pity. He couldn't see the bottom of her eyes. He knew that she was an expert at acting. Her acting skills were so good that they could pass off as real. Then, he accidentally treated her acting as his own life. He deliberately raised his eyebrows and asked, "Why would you think that? If you didn't fall in love with me, would you be so gentle to me? I've always been gentle to women. Didn't you know?" Yi Er still had a bright smile in her eyes, but she felt that there was a spring slowly flowing into her heart. The spring water was astringent and salty. "Of course I know. I'm a gentleman, but I want to remind you that our bed is still there." The man's smile was natural, but the flesh under his skin was extremely uncomfortable. "How could I forget? I can forget my bed with anyone, but I can never forget my bed with a little fox like you." Yi Er didn't look into Jiang Zhao's eyes anymore. She wasn't mature enough. She couldn't stand looking at him for too long. Which nerve of hers short-circuited to ask such a question? The woman raised her arm and hooked it around the man's arm. She leaned her head on his shoulder and asked intimately, "Hubby, what if you lose?" The muscles on the man's back tightened. He reached out and slowly stroked the back of the woman's hand. He smiled warmly and said, "Honey, what if you lose?" Yi Er didn't answer. What should she do? What could she do with a bet that had no stakes? What would she lose? Actually, she couldn't lose anything. Why didn't she admit that she had lost? What did she insist on? Then what if we don't lose? Jiang Zhao reached out and stroked the woman's chin. What a harmonious couple, isn't it? She knew that he was such a proud person. From the day she forced herself to marry him, they were destined to have a loveless marriage. They didn't lose. Wasn't it very harmonious? Actually, it had long been disharmonious. At the family banquet, Yun Hongwei didn't seem reserved. Not only did Si Jiao look likable, but he also spoke like an adult. When there were many people, he wouldn't embarrass Yi Er like he did at home. He would often praise his sister for being smart, virtuous, and considerate. Jiang Zhao felt that this brother-in-law of his was a shrewd person. Yi Er had been raised like a daughter of a wealthy family outside. The Qin family was very satisfied with Yi Er's performance. The people at the table walked around the wine table. They were just saying some polite words. Qin Rongfang had a sage-like temperament. He was always wearing a button-up shirt. The weather was cold, so the material was thicker. He was always putting on the airs of a scholar. From time to time, he would say a few words. It was obvious that he was very eloquent. Lei Qing, when will Zhao Zhao and Yi Er's wedding be? If his grandfather can't handle it, I'll take care of it. Jiang Liqing didn't dare to say anything about this. Dad, Zhao Zhao's grandfather has been worrying about the date recently. It's lively to have a holiday on New Year's Day, but the date according to the lunar calendar isn't too good. Qin Jin continued and said sarcastically, "Who are you calling Dad? Who's your dad?" This topic smoothly transitioned from the younger generation's wedding date to the older generation's grudges. Old Master Qin was between Jiang Liqing and Qin Zhen. This seat was very strange. Qin Zhen and Si Jia sat together, while Jiang Liqing and Yun Hongwei sat together. The others followed suit and sat down. With this commotion, Qin Rongfang felt that he couldn't maintain his image anymore. Jiang Liqing said, "Don't you know who else at this table can make me call Dad? A father for a day, a father for life. Am I wrong to call him Dad?" Qin Zhen looked unhappy. "I don't know where such a person comes from in this world. You're divorced, but you still come to someone else's house all day long. Who wants you to come?" Jiang Liqing was a little embarrassed, but he was already used to Qin Zhen being like this. It was just that he was forced to get used to it. Zhao Zhao is not my son after the divorce. Dad is not my dad after the divorce. Zhao Zhao is your son, but Dad is my dad, not your dad. Qin Zhen looked up and stared hard at Jiang Zhao. She happened to meet Jiang Zhao's gaze at this moment. Jiang Zhao laughed dryly. He only felt that he was unlucky. He should have lowered his head to eat just now. That way, he wouldn't have been used as a meat shield. He glanced at Qin Rongfang. Qin Rongfang could only laugh dryly. This daughter couldn't be disciplined. Although she was old, mistemper was still there. People said that the son was the seedling at home, while the daughter was the water that was spilled out. However, he had spoiled his daughter since they were young and didn't spoil his son. This couple had quarreled for more than 10 years, and he had endured it. Lei Qing, you're right. Dad likes to hear you call him that. If you don't call me Dad, what should I call you? No matter what you call me, it's not appropriate. Dad, you said that he's not wrong. Are you saying that I'm wrong? Qin Zhen stood up. How can there be such an ignorant person like him? He comes to all kinds of banquets. He should have come during the engagement ceremony. Why is he coming now? If I knew that he was coming, I wouldn't have come. Come and see. Xinwu 799 Chapter 533. Yi Er was still all right. She had heard Jiang Zhao talk about it and had seen the two of them bicker before. However, the most awkward person was Yun Hongwei. He felt as if he was sitting on pins and needles. He could neither persuade nor not persuade them. It was as if the couple was quarreling because of him. When he stood up, Yun Hongwei picked up the wine bottle and poured a glass of white wine for Jiang Liqing. He then walked to Qin Jin and picked up the decanter to pour her a glass of sober red wine. He smiled generously and said, "In-law, come and sit." Qin Jin had forgotten her manners. She was a little uncomfortable being asked to sit by Yun Hongwei. It was not the right time to lose her temper today. Jiang Liqing's expression was also a little unnatural. After all, not all of his relatives were here today. He had lost all his face. In the past, Qin Jin would still care about it, but he didn't know what was going on today. Yun Hongwei returned to his seat and raised his glass. He first clinked it with Jiang Liqing's glass. Jiang Liqing quickly stood up. Yun Hongwei then raised his glass towards Qin Jin. Qin Jin also raised her glass of red wine. She reached out and clinked it with Yun Hongwei's small white wine glass. She smiled apologetically. Yun Hongwei held his glass and looked at Qin Jin and Jiang Liqing. His eyes were shining with sincerity. He seemed to swallow his saliva and spoke a little slowly. "In-law, our Yi Er is so lucky to be married into your family. To be honest, when I first found out, I didn't dare to believe it. I felt that I was climbing up the social ladder. Yi Er told me that her parents-in-law were easy to get along with. They never said anything harsh." Yun Hongwei said and paused. "So, our Yi Er is so lucky. I don't even know how many lifetimes of good fortune she has accumulated." Yi Er felt a little inferior. Everyone could see that her father was trying to smooth things over. If the Yun family was still in power, these words would not be said. Just as she was about to lower her head, Jiang Zhao reached out and gently held her hand. She suddenly felt that she had someone to rely on and her sense of inferiority slowly disappeared. Jiang Liqing naturally felt Yun Hongwei's good intentions. He said, "In-law, what are you talking about? What do you mean by climbing up the social ladder? As long as the child likes it, we adults are happy. They are the ones living their lives. Let's not talk about family status. Moreover, Yi Er is a very obedient child. How could I have said anything harsh to her?" Qin Jin glanced at Yi Er. Her head was slightly lowered, and her arm was leaning against her son's arm. The two hands seemed to be holding each other tightly under the table. She sighed. "If our Zhao Zhao likes it, we will all like it. In-law, you don't have to say that. We're a family." Yun Hongwei smiled. Yes. Family. Let's have a drink." The sound of wine glasses clinking was accompanied by the laughter of the three middle-aged men. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed, becoming joyous and harmonious. Qin Rongfang finally breathed a sigh of relief. When everyone calmed down, Qin Feiyu took a sip of juice, turned his head and asked Yi Er with a smile, "Sister-in-law, people are going to have Xiao Bao after getting married. When are you going to have a baby? When you guys give birth to little Bao, you have to let me play with it." Yi Er was very nervous about this question. With a marriage like theirs, would they have a baby? Jiang Zhao felt the hand in his palm tensing up and sweating. He said to Qin Feiyu, "Your sister-in-law is still so young. How can we have a baby? Moreover, I don't want a baby now. We'll talk about it after a few years." Yi Er sighed. So he really didn't want a child. Qin Rongfang was not satisfied. He said angrily, "What else do you want to be considered stable? Tell me, if this isn't stable, what else can be considered stable? Then everyone in the country shouldn't have children. Even Jiang Liqing said at this time, Jiang Zhao, let's not drag this matter out. You know about your brother's situation. It's not easy to have a child. Jiang Zhao's heart sank. Don't worry. If we want one in the future, we will. Yi Er hurriedly said, I still want to find a school to study at. I've already found one. I'll be starting tutoring next week, and then I'll be taking exams. So, we'll talk about having a child in a few years. Jiang Zhao glanced at Yi Er, then turned back. Qin Zhen said, I don't care about your matters. Go to the hospital tomorrow for a physical examination. If everything is normal, you can have a child whenever you want. Jiang Zhao knew what his mother meant. She felt that this was too respectful, but Yi Er had already nodded. Okay, Mom. We'll go for a physical examination tomorrow. Jiang Zhao's phone rang. He looked at it and saw that it was Zhuang Yichen. He got up and said he would go out to answer it. The northern end of the floor of Haiyue Tower was very quiet. Jiang Zhao walked over and picked up the phone. Zhuang Yichen said that he had found someone to hack Shintong's computer. Moreover, all the IP addresses that he had contacted since the day the photos were taken were all hacked. The photos should be safe now. Jiang Zhao smiled. Did you take stimulants today? You're so fast. Yeah, I was bored out of my mind. Zhuang Yichen sat in the cruise restaurant and looked at the empty seat opposite him. He squeezed the knife and fork in his hand and narrowed his eyes. I can't find anything to do. Let's get Shintong in as soon as possible. It's not fun to play with him at all. Okay. Jiang Zhao smiled unrestrainedly. After hanging up, Zhuang Yichen made a call and asked coldly, where did Qiu and Xiaoyu go? Boss, I've been following Miss Qiu. She went to the hospital. Young Master Kong is hospitalized. It seems like he was in a car accident and is being treated. After hanging up, Zhuang Yichen pinched the phone between his fingers and massaged his temples. There was a blood vessel inside that was throbbing violently. There was a fire in the blood vessel that was burning fiercely. He rarely let her eat with him outside, and the few times he did, he chose a very private place. It had been almost 4 years. The number of times they ate out could be counted with one hand. She actually dared to stand him up today. Her phone was turned off. The number that was originally turned off suddenly appeared on his phone screen. He wanted to pick it up quickly but paused for 2 seconds. He slid it open and put it to his ear. What time is it? Boss, I'm sorry. My phone ran out of battery just now. I changed the battery. I don't have time to go tonight, come here immediately. Zhuang Yichen's voice was still very slow, but his tone was heavier. Xiaoyu was silent for a while. That's not right. Why did she still call him boss? We're even now. We've already said that we're breaking up. Zhuang Yichen, don't go too far. Zhuang Yichen chuckled. We're even. Qiu Xiaoyao, we agreed on 4 years. During this time, I'll raise you up and give you the fame and fortune you want. When the contract ends, I'll transfer the ownership of the house to you. I'll take care of your family matters. If I want to end it, you won't lose anything. But if you want to end it, I'll stop paying you and the house won't be transferred. But have you forgotten? I've already transferred the ownership of the house to you. Zhuang, you were the one who said that it's just a house. Even if it's only for a month, you should give it to me. I said that I'll return it to you. I didn't force you. Why are you acting like a gentleman now? So what? If I give you the house, it means that our relationship will end after 4 years. So, you're still mine now. You're too much. Qiu Xiaoyao, Don't blame me for not reminding you. People who are in a car accident are very fragile. If something goes wrong, it'll be troublesome. You'd better drive over quickly while I still have patience. You asked someone to do it. Zhuang Yichen listened to Xiao Ye's questioning and pinched the bridge of his nose. I don't need to explain it to you. You're a jerk. Oh. Zhuang Yichen raised his wrist and looked at his watch. It seems like you want to know how a jerk does things. Xiao Ye held the phone and heard the beeping sound. She shouted a few times, hello, hello, hello. She turned around and saw that the "in emergency" light on the top of the door of the emergency room was still on. She bit the corner of the phone in her mouth. Her lips trembled violently as if they had been frozen by the cold wind. She remembered that she had said to the person inside before, "You are my life. My life is called Kang Yun." Jiang Zhao hung up the phone and was about to return to the private room when the door of the first private room opened. High heels stepped out and fell on the carpet without a sound. When the door closed, there was a click sound. When he looked up, Jiang Zhao smiled. Ouyang Yan walked over. Second brother. Yun Yun is here too. Yes, Dad is treating someone to dinner tonight. What about you? Jiang Zhao slid the phone into his trouser pocket. Family dinner. Aren't family dinners rarely held outside? Ouyang Yan knew that the Qin mansion had a special dining area. Most family dinners were usually held at home. Yes, because I always eat at home, I'm a little tired of it. Thinking about it, that didn't seem to be the case. The Qin family's chef always made a lot of food. He remembered that day when she was hospitalized, she cried and said that she wanted to eat sea cucumber. He said that he would take her to eat the best sea cucumber in High City. He also knew that she was acting at that time, but he always took her acting seriously. He treated it as a request. She wanted to eat sea cucumber, and he agreed to it. That was all. Ouyang Yan smiled gently. Your mouth has always been so picky. People from Bingyi River. She reached out and touched the corner of Jiang Zhao's mouth affectionately as before. Look at you. You didn't even wipe your mouth before running out. This isn't like you. Without Jiang Zhao by his side, Yi Er couldn't help but feel reserved. He found an excuse to come out and look for someone. The carpet was very thick, and the woman's footsteps were very light. He slowly retracted his steps. He really didn't come at the right time. So it was Ouyang Yan who called to look for him. Some people said that when a man was willing to cover up, it meant that he still cared. When he didn't care anymore, he couldn't even be bothered to pretend. Perhaps he cared about her feelings and didn't say that he came out to see Ouyang Yan. As she walked back, she bumped into Yunwa's arms. She was still a little dazed. When she raised her head, she rubbed her temples. Wu. Sister-in-law, what a coincidence. Wu supported Yi Er's shoulders. After she steadied herself, he let go and took a step back, maintaining a polite distance. You're eating here too. After Yi Er confirmed that it was Wu, the first thing she did was to size him up from head to toe. It wasn't obvious on his face, but there was still some green at the corner of his eyebrows. The stray hair on his forehead covered some of it. Is your injury better? It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect my movements. Grandpa invited a few uncles to dinner today and insisted that I come over. Wu was a little distant from Yi Er. That kind of distance was very natural. Yi Er couldn't help but sigh softly. Perhaps after the fight, he was afraid of provoking her. This was really a misunderstanding. Wu, I'm sorry. I asked you to draw the painting, but Jiang Zhao took his anger out on you. I'm very sorry that things ended up like this. Sister-in-law, why are you saying all this? It's normal that Zhao Ge can't understand. I think if it were me, I wouldn't be able to accept it either. You should be more open-minded. Don't always take it to heart. Beauty novel Hongcha 866. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.